Trump is managing to win a war during a ceasefire. Iran tried to get involved, immediately surrendered. China tried to do something about it, immediately surrendered, and then started pushing Iran to surrender even harder. Trump is beefing with the Pope, which is a wild. Democrat congressmen and governors are literally retiring because they were accused, seemingly very credibly, of essaying multiple women, while other members of Congress are looking into deporting HASAN PIKER. Not exaggerating, that's a real thing. Europe continues to fall apart, and it seems like YouTube and a lot of the big tech companies are censoring a lot of the discourse that is kind of celebrating Trump destroying the Iranian regime. We got a wild ride today. I was in the mines. I was in the Jew tunnels for 3,000 years preparing this video. I did a ton of research, and honestly, it's gonna blow your mind. Too many people are too busy inhaling the fumes of Islam or whatever other third world country they're pandering to these days. Unfortunately, no one's actually telling you the truth. And that's why I'm here, baby. Lock in, boy and girl. It's gonna be crazy. Donald Trump made a tweet. That's how basically everything starts these days. Iran's navy is laying at the bottom of the sea, completely obliterated, 158 ships. What we have not hit are their small number of what they call fast attack ships, because we do not consider them much of a threat. Warning, if any of these ships come anywhere close to our blockade, they will immediately be eliminated using the same system of kill that is used against the drug dealers on boats at sea. It is quick and brutal. P.S. 98.2% of drugs coming into the U.S. by ocean or sea have stopped. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. You know, a lot of people crying that Trump's not doing enough to protect our mainland, and he's doing a lot to protect our mainland. 99% of legal immigration was stopped under Trump, which is fantastic. For those of you that need a crazy update, Iran threatened to block the Strait of Hormuz, so Donald Trump said, "Oh, no, you will not. I will block the Strait of Hormuz." which is honestly, it sounds pretty dumb, and that's why a lot of the libtards are crying about it. And a lot of the low IQ podcasters are freaking out Donald Trump's an idiot, but they don't understand. But if they watch this video, they would. So lend me your attention for approximately the next 20 minutes, and you will see potentially one of the greatest military victories in at least the last half century. So Donald Trump continues to tweet. 34 ships went through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday, which is by far the highest number since this foolish closure began. So the question is, wait a second, Donald Trump did a blockade. Why are ships going through? Because Donald Trump, you see, has a very different strategy with his blockade than merely annoying the planet, which is what Iran did. Right? Iran was out there bombing ships and whatever to basically annoy the planet, to use it to extort Trump to stop the war. Trump is using it to crush Iran completely. So Vance originally now acknowledges he acknowledges that even though he was skeptical originally about going to war with Iran, he now agrees that it needed to happen after actually meeting these motherfuckers.
As it can. It's being reported that you had real skepticism about this at the beginning and that you expressed that to the president. Is that true?
Well, Brett, you know, I give my advice to the President of the United States, and we all do, and I expect that when I give advice to the President of the United States, that it's going to be private, because the President should rely on his senior advisors without them then running to the media. What I will say, Brett, is that I 100% agree with the President on the fact that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I've seen that just in the negotiation that we've had over the last couple of days, that these are tough negotiators, but they're fundamentally the kinds of people where them having a nuclear weapon would impose terrible costs on the entire world.
They couldn't figure out
engage in economic terror.
They couldn't figure out how to stop raping children and goats. All right, we don't want them to have nukes.
If they had a nuclear bomb in Tehran, that's not an outcome that is acceptable to us, or really should be acceptable to anybody. So I 100% support the president's goals here to keep nuclear weapons, to keep the worst weapons of war out of the hands of the Iranians.
Honestly, just an incredibly good take. So JD is warming up to the idea of actually killing these goat fuckers, which is great, because I don't think goat fuckers should live. So anyway, Donald Trump continues roasting Europe this time. Dude, you're going to see this is all going to come together. Don't you worry. Europe is desperate for energy, and yet the United Kingdom refuses to open the North Sea oil. One of the greatest fields in the world, tragic. Aberdeen would be booming. Norway sells its North Sea oil to the UK at double the price. They are making a fortune. UK, which is better situated on the North Sea for purposes of energy than Norway, should drill, baby, drill. It is absolutely crazy that they don't, and no more windmills. And this is honestly because, you know, honestly, England is gay. gay, homosexuals, they're faggots. Gay faggots and homosexuals running the entire country these days. While they're not bringing in rapists of children, they do their absolute best to rape their citizens. And unfortunately for the people of England, their government is so woke that they would rather suffer and not have oil than drill. So they're going to buy it from people that pollute the sea instead of pollute the sea themselves. It's pretty great, huh? And the funniest part of it all is now they're crying about the Strait of Hormuz because, well, they can't buy money from the goat fuckers anymore. It's horrible. So, of course, Spain gets involved. Great news. Spain rejects Trump Hormuz blockade threat. You know what? I'm really glad they did, because I've been waiting for this moment to say, your opinion means fucking nothing. Focus on your own house, my guy. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's wife has just been charged with influence peddling and private sector corruption. You know, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Focus on your own shit. Well, meanwhile, this dude's out here virtue signaling to the rest of the world. Spain, which wants oil from their buddies over at Iran, because Spain is a conquered nation at this point. 500 years of crusades, the Christians managed to take Spain back from the Islamists. And they have forfeited it, literally, with zero battles, zero bloodshed. Well, I mean, at least not bloodshed in war. And they just gave it back. Notice how Spain never threatened Iran, never told Iran not to block the Strait of Hormuz, but of course very upset at Trump for doing it. Pretty honestly, hilariously eye-opening, if you ask me. Pedro Sanchez made this tweet, so it all comes together. Today with Xi Jinping, I've confirmed the bond between Spain and China emerges strength following official trip. Yeah, we get it. We get it. We get it. We know what side you're on. Thank you. Thank you very much. Of course, England's also losing their mind now that they're not getting oil from the Strait of Hormuz. The UK was totally cool with Iran controlling the strait. When the US takes it over and stops Iran's ships, they get angry. Weird, huh? It's almost like the Islamist country of Iran is taking over or something, and they're allying themselves with the IRGC. Keir Starmer makes this whole long, like, drolling on and on tweet. The ongoing closure of the Strait of Hormuz is deeply damaging. Getting global shipping moving is vital. It's vital. This week, the UK and France will host a summit of advanced work on a coordination independent multinational plan to safeguard international shipping when the conflict ends. When the conflict ends, notice. All right, meaning he's going to do fucking nothing until literally Donald Trump cleans up the issue. All right, and honestly, I thought this was one of the greatest summaries I've ever seen in my life. The Europeans are preparing to talk about co-hosting a summit to discuss what meetings need to be held to form a multinational coalition to consider what should be done once the conflict is over. It's literally just meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings and plans and plans and meetings and strongly worded tweets and letters and condemnations in the United Nations, and they never do fucking anything. It's truly diabolical watching these cucks try to flounder, all right? You know, 45K likes on this. You just announced the blockade yesterday. How are ships going through? Holy fuck. We are blocking the Iranian ships so to starve Iran, all right? Which we'll get to in just a second. So this is Iran furious. Trump's blockade is working very, very well. In fact, Iran flew one of their drones a little too close.
If any Iranian ships come anywhere close to our blockade, they'll be immediately eliminated. U.S. Marines are ready to board Iranian oil tankers, and CENTCOM's ready to neutralize any Iranian fast attack boats that slip into the strait to cause mischief.
Yep.
One of Iran's surveillance drones
this is international
flew
waters.
Too close to one of our destroyers, and we blew it out of the sky.
That's right. They got a little too close, and we blew it away. This does not violate the ceasefire. We were worried about a very, very immediate attack. This was a preemptive defensive maneuver. I'm just saying. They flew a little too close, and they fucking died. It's not our problem they decided to die. The reality is very simple, my guy. Very, very simple. Now, two tankers were also going in this strait, trying to go through Trump's blockade to go to China. They put on fake flags and fake banners to slip past the blockade to go to China. Well.
This is completely reversing everything Iran did to the strait. Now, every nation's ship in the world can sail out except Iran's.
That's right.
15 American warships are involved in the operation. The mission to free the strait got underway this weekend when two guided missile destroyers sailed straight up the gut. The USS Frank E. Peterson and the USS Michael Murphy were the first two warships to bust into the strait since the start of the war. The regime threatened to attack if American ships entered.
Oh, my.
We did it anyway, and they did nothing. And we're about to start clearing the strait of mines, so oil tankers have a clear path out.
Just completely called their bluff. If you enter the Strait of Hormuz, we will attack you. We just did it, and they did fucking nothing. We obliterated their weapons, and they have absolutely zero power, and we completely called their bluff. Honestly, just insane, bro. Just crazy. All right, let's see Europe's plan now that the Strait of Hormuz is blockaded.
is how can we reduce the demand? Because, of course, the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used.
What?
We should reduce demand while fully respecting the free choice of consumers. So we are looking at energy efficiency levels such as renovation of buildings or the renewal of equipment in industrial operations. These are some measures, but there are also other measures that we will present, or will be the core of the presentation of the communication next week on the table of the leaders. So far for the...
Great. So the cheapest energy is the one you don't use. Just stay home, don't drive, don't use electricity, and we'll have no issues. That's Europe. Literally just roll over and die, why don't you? This is insane. All right, so to understand, they threatened us. They threatened this is going to be bad, or they're going to destroy us. We can't enter the strait. As you can see, the U.S. Navy blockade actually did begin. We actually did just stroll right through the strait. We had no issues with anything because we're fucking strong as shit, and the Iranians are weak and gay. So the reality is, President Trump's Strait of Hormuz blockade is costing Iran roughly $400 million every day. People don't understand. Iran's only profit margin is, they have two things that they do for money in Iran. They export terrorism and oil. Okay. All right. So we stopped the terrorism. So that's pretty great. We also stopped their weapons manufacturing that they've been sending to Russia in their Ukraine war. And we've also stopped their oil. This is crazy, by the way, and insanely huge. And I keep seeing people, but we voted on a border wall 10 years ago. How's that going? Look, man, is Trump doing literally everything correct? No, of course he's not. But can we not bitch and cry over these stupid things when we actually do have a border wall getting made? Literally, Stephen Miller revealed that the DHS is building 1 mile of new border wall every day. Things are happening, and we're able to actually focus on two things at the same time. To quote Don Tzu, break an enemy blockade by blockading their blockade. And Iran winds up losing $400 million every single day on their blockaded oil. Suddenly, things are not good for them. Now, that is $13 billion a month. Now, the funniest part is, the people most affected by this, not even Iran, because they're a death cult, they don't care if they die to go to Allah and fuck children in heaven or whatever. The people most affected are China. So China, one of the massive allies of Iran, is now begging Iran to surrender.
Threatened bridging the power plant day. China called Iran and told them to cry uncle. Now the Iranian oil blockade is probably the knockout punch. The Iranians are trying to outlast us. The longer the war goes on, the longer they're...
Right? They think that, oh, we're just going to stifle it. This was Iran's strategy. We are going to commit terror attacks in the Strait of Hormuz to cripple the entire world's oil supply. Everyone's going to suffer so much, Trump is going to stop killing us. That was their entire strategy. Meanwhile, they're going to control the strait, so they're going to still be able to sell their oil to China, and that's how they're going to make money. Now that the blockade exists, A, they're not making any money. They're losing $400 million a day. And B, you're going to see in just a moment how the energy crisis was solved too.
Their regime can hold off a revolution, but their economy is experiencing a crippling depression. This blockade's costing the regime almost $400 million a day.
Ooh.
That's $13 billion a month. Plus, the Iranians can only store oil for about 2 weeks before they have to start shutting off wells. The Iranians can't outlast us. The world...
2 weeks and they're going to have to shut off all their wells. How long was this ceasefire supposed to last again? My God. Oh my God. This is like the 5D chess plan that everyone was making fun of and being like, no, there's no way Trump is actually planning this. This is like a 5D chess plan. Oh, really?
It's turning to us for energy. Over 120 empty oil tankers are on their way to the Gulf of America.
That's right, the Gulf of America. My glob. Big news. Ship tracking data shows a tanker bound for China forced to be turned back under the U.S. blockade. Sorry, bro. Sorry, brother. You ain't getting through our blockade. Iran is more than happy to sell oil to China, but... what if China can't get that oil? And breaking news, oil prices fall back to below $100 a barrel. What a crazy reversal. Actually, they're even lower than this right now. This is old news. This is like a day ago screenshot. Right now, it's even more than that. Right now, I'm pretty sure it's like $89 a barrel. It's pretty insane, actually. And everyone was saying this was going to hit 130, 140. This was going to be the next Great Depression. Everyone was saying this, by the way. Everyone was going to say, all the experts on CNN were saying Trump is bringing us into a Great Depression. None of them will ever say that they were wrong. But they were all all wrong. You know who wasn't wrong? This blue guy over here. This blue motherfucker. I was literally correct the entire freaking time, man. Honestly horrifying. Honestly horrifying that I was right. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little scary. I'm just a blue retard on the internet. All right, so you want to see the most America first shit of all time? You know, everyone's gonna scream, Trump is controlled by Israel. Well, this is the Gulf of America, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, it is packed with super tankers racing to load up on U.S. oil. That's right. We are now the #1 oil exporter on the planet. And all these countries absolutely need us. Notice how Cuba is next to fall, a very vital choke point in our hemisphere. Notice how we have so much more oil now thanks to Venezuela. Notice how we now kicked China out of the Panama Canal and we turned the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. It's kind of weird how that happens. But why didn't they plan for Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz? This is what CNN was saying for like literally a month, running straight propaganda again and again and again. All your Cenk Jungers and dumb fucks on Piers Morgan, where Piers Morgan gets an actual clown car of retards, the retard Avengers assembled on every Piers Morgan panel where they all sit there and like, I can't believe Trump didn't anticipate Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz. You absolute gigafuckers. It's over. Remember all that time Trump wasted on the Panama Canal? Dude, everything is coming together. From Venezuela to Cuba to Panama Canal to the Gulf of America, to Iran, the oil tankers, the Strait of Hormuz, the blockade, why he sent all those battleships. Dude, this is honestly horrifying. It's horrifying that he actually played us so fucking well. And just like that, we understand the importance of Cuba. Wow, did not see that one coming at all. The market is starting to figure out that President Trump knows exactly what he's doing. Takes Venezuela first to replace the Iranian oil. Has our refinery start ramping production of Venezuelan oil. Attacks Iran, naval blockades, straight tankers start coming to us. Says Cuba is next beforehand, so they know not to fuck around in those waters or else. Bro, it is so over for the China people. And there it is. I was told that a blockade would cost $150 barrel of oil. Anyway, there it is at $88 a barrel. Look at that steep drop. But I was told it was going to be a bajillion times worse for everybody. I was told it was going to end the economy. Of course, Iran started tweeting this from all their different embassies. Blocking the strait, it's our job, not yours. Okay. Okay, if you say so. 121 empty oil tankers en route to the United States now that President Trump launched a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. We are the #1 oil exporter on the planet.
The United States of America. 68 of those 121 vessels are very large crude carriers capable of carrying 2 million barrels apiece. President Trump has urged countries squeezed by Iran's disruption of the Strait of Hormuz to turn to American energy supplies.
Bro,
instead.
It's crazy how this played like right into the palm of our hands.
Perhaps they are obliging him.
And all these absolute retards criticizing us the entire time are going to end up paying us for our oil. Dude, no one is as cucked as like the Europeans under their libtard autocrats. I'm not going to lie. Like these guys, you know, they're funding Ukraine while buying Russian oil. It's like these guys are so fucked. It's crazy. It's honestly insane. It's heartbreaking. Like you could cry or laugh. I guess I'll laugh. Otherwise I'll cry. Breaking, the S&P 500 erases all losses and turns green on the day as the U.S. begins the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. As you can see, the economy is good. Oil prices are down. Things are great. And I was told that this war was not an America first concept. Are you fucking insane? We're killing terrorists. We're doing a moral good by Trump. Hopefully, the Iranian people will end up finding some solace and liberation through all of this. So it's a moral good. It is objectively awesome. It's not crippling our economy forever. It's not a forever war. There's no boots on the ground. No nukes. Everyone crying. Everyone screaming. Bajillions of American troops are going to die. Yeah, that didn't happen, thank God. The Iranians got fucking obliterated. These guys that have been committing horrible acts of terror, killing thousands of us all the time. But Trump made a mean tweet saying he'll end a civilization. You mean the civilization that's been chanting death to America every single day for the last 47 years? Just in, Iran accuses U.S. of committing piracy by blocking the Strait of Hormuz. I absolutely love the unbelievable levels of W's we're seeing. So they admit that blocking the Strait of Hormuz is piracy? You mean the thing that they've been doing? A lot of people think that just because the Strait of Hormuz is like somewhere moderately near Iran, they have some sort of right to close it. They don't own an economic waterway. They are committing acts of terror every day by closing the Strait of Hormuz. All right, Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. Haha, I am so smart. I'm literally gonna hijack the entire world. Fuck you, Europeans. Hey, Iran, when America shuts the Hormuz back down. No, no, no. Why would you pirate our piracy? No. So Iran is literally cooked, as I've already established, within 10 to 14 days. They max out on all their oil storage, you know, because obviously they can't get any oil out. There's something of a blockade, it seems. It seems like in day 2 of the blockade, which is today, several dozen Iranian ports are already 100% choked off by the U.S. Navy. Not only do we have all the cards militarily, we have all the cards economically. This is like an absolute total victory. And because there's a ceasefire, essentially we can just move around without any fear of getting hit by these dumb fucks. Y'all can focus on fucking goats. You have 2 weeks left. Oh my god, it's like so over. Iran is desperate as shit, dude. The regime is reportedly in talks with the Trump administration as the straight blockade begins. Now they want to work towards an agreement. No.
The blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, it's underway. U.S. Central Command issuing a note warning the blockade applies to all vessel traffic, regardless of the flag. And they write this: any vessel entering or departing the blockaded area without authorization is subject to interception, diversion, and capture. The blockade will not impede neutral transit passage through the Strait of Hormuz to or from non-Iranian destinations. So everybody's clear.
Yeah, everyone is clear.
Where everything stands.
That's right. That's right. It's our strait now. We're renaming it the Strait of Trump. Trump Strait. It's what's happening. Sorry, man. I hate to be that guy, but this is crazy. Of course, the Iranian regime released all sorts of statements saying that we may not have a navy, but we have thousands of one-way attack drones. Yeah, so, you know, they're still dropping their threats. They're trying their best. And this is them basically threatening to bomb other Gulf countries. They're like, oh, yeah, you're going to stop us from making money? Well, we'll commit acts of terror on random Arabs.
Iran is warning its military may retaliate, threatening a wreckage and a reckoning. And Iranian military spokesperson saying if the security of the ports of the Islamic Republic of Iran in the waters of the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman is threatened,
they were threatened.
No port in the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman will remain safe. Now,
like, how many times do they have to say it for us to be aware that we're dealing with actual terrorists? They're like, oh, yeah, we're going to blockade the Strait of Hormuz. And if you try to blockade our blockade, well, then we're going to bomb random Arabs. Like, what the fuck are we dealing with? This is incredible. Just in, Iran folds, says they will not test the U.S. in the Strait of Hormuz. Total and utter humiliation and capitulation. Oh my God. These guys are roaring every single day. They're going to conquer the world. Trump lost the war. They're secretly winning, and they're folding every single day on something else. Now, if you think that that's the end of Trump's 5D chess, you ain't seen nothing yet. U.S. announces a defense partnership with Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. So the U.S. Secretary of War, Indonesian Minister of Defense, announced an establishment of the Major Defense Cooperation Partnership between the United States and Indonesia. All right, you're probably wondering what that's all about. Well, the Strait of Malacca is there as well. If you understand a little bit of maritime strategy, China's fucked. China's giga-fucked. We're meeting with China on May 14th. That's when Trump is meeting with Xi Jinping. And we are going to control all the pivotal straits around the world to the point that China will have absolutely nothing to do but beg us for our benevolence to make sure their country doesn't collapse. They were getting their oil from Venezuela, from Iran, traveling through all these straits, like the Strait of Malacca, the Strait of Hormuz. And it's really not looking good for these guys if we're all of a sudden owning all these straits. It's really bad. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, it was an honor to host Indonesian Defense Minister at the Pentagon today. I was proud to announce we are elevating our relationship to a major defense cooperation partnership in recognition of the strength and potential of the bilateral defense ties. We are controlling the fucking planet right now. Iran is ready to sell its oil to any country. Remember when Iran was like, we will sell our oil, but not to any country that allies with the United States. And then it's like, we'll sell it to literally anyone. Please take our oil. We're blockaded as fuck. We're overloading. We're losing $400 million a day. Please. So they're trying their best. Now, for those of you crying about gas prices, gas is $7.39 in California, but it is $3.19 in Iowa. If this was a global oil crisis, they would both be the same price. Same president, same world. Different governors. That's right. It's the communism, like, gas taxes that's making the oil prices shoot up in Cali. And, of course, you know, Iran rejected U.S. demands to stop backing regional proxies, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis during negotiations. And the dumbest fucking people on the planet are like, wait a second, is Israel right all along? Iran was backing Hamas and the Hezbollah and the Houthis? And it's like, holy fucking shit. These people are actually retarded. For years, by the way, a lot of the left in the West was like, oh, they're totally separate. It's just a resistance movement. It's totally not an offshoot of Islamic terrorism from Iran. There's no reason. Remember, my favorite thing actually was how, again, on the Piers Morgan conga line of butt-munching retards, he gets absolute degenerate terror supporters like Mehdi Hassan on his show to be like, Israel launched an attack against Iran. It was an attack of aggression. It was totally uncalled for. Meanwhile, Iran has literally been funding terror wars on Israel for the last 47 years. For the record, Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis have all killed Americans. Houthis bomb our ships. Hamas captured and murdered Americans. Hezbollah killed 240 Marines in Beirut. Like, for the record, Iran has been killing our people for the last 47 years. This is not some random war that Trump started. Trump is ending a 47-year-long war in a very effective way. All right, now, just to understand, like, what's actually going on the planet, I'll save this for a future video. It's too crazy. The CIA reported hacked phones of the IRGC commanders, then sent them false messages as a deception campaign to rescue the downed U.S. airmen. This is actually called, this is an Israeli tech called Pegasus, I'm pretty sure, where basically, the CIA gets to hack their phones and tell them what's going on. And they've done this enough times for me to actually believe this is real. Now, the low IQ podcasters, according to Donald Trump, are proving that they are actually low IQ podcasters. Alex Jones says, shows this video where the Pentagon is having a B-2 Spirit stealth bomber fly by a U.S. carrier in the Persian Gulf to raise troops' morale during intense conflict. But why would their morale need to be raised if we are winning the war? This is fucking retarded, man. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Why would you raise the morale of the troops if the troops are winning? This is like actual retard shit. And also, this isn't even real. This is not even real. This video shows digitally created footage of Microsoft Flight Simulator graphics, not authentic Pentagon footage. Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. What are we doing? What happened to Alex Jones, man? Dude used to be so on the ball. What's going on? All right, and then you got, like, Islam. This is an Islamist British lady who made the U.S. boss on dictating to other nations about their enriched uranium. I'll explain it to you. It's the fact that we have the most powerful military on the planet, and we are the good guys, and we don't like the bad guys. And what gives us the right to decide who is the good guys and who are the bad guys? These big fucking balls and a massive military. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that might makes right. But I am going to sit here and tell you that might makes. So if you're a bad guy, you're fucked. But if you're a good guy, we'll treat you very well. Do you understand how that works? You're a hypocrite for letting yourself have nukes, but not letting Iran have nukes. Schrodinger's retard raises its ugly head to hit you with that one. It's hypocritical for you to think that good guys should have strong weapons and that bad guys should get fucked. Sorry, your leftist tricks don't work on me, wench. Now, Donald Trump has continued his crusade, beefing with the Pope. I can't believe what we're doing here. But I cover all the things. So we're going to cover all of the things. So Donald Trump made this tweet, and then he made a follow-up tweet. We're going to go in chronological order here. We're going to do the two Trump tweets and all the responses. Tucker Carlson gets involved. He says, no, actually, actually Islam is the greatest friend of Christianity. Which I'd like, what are we even doing here, guys? Get ready for a wild ride. Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. He's a pope. He talks about fear of the Trump administration, but doesn't even mention the fear of the Catholic Church and all the other Christian organizations had during COVID, when they were arresting priests, ministers, and everyone else for holding church services, even when going outside, being 10 and 20 feet apart. I like his brother Louis much better than I like him because Louis is all MAGA. He gets it, and Leo doesn't. I don't want a pope. What's going on? I don't want a pope who thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't want a pope who thinks it's terrible that America attacked Venezuela, a country that was sending massive amounts of drugs into the United States, and even worse, emptying their prisons, including murderers, drug dealers, and killers into our country. And I don't want a pope who criticizes the president of the United States. Oh my god, dude. Because I am doing exactly what I was elected in a landslide to do, setting record low numbers in crime, creating the greatest stock market in history. Leo should be thankful because, as everyone knows, he was a shocking surprise. He wasn't on any list to be pope. He was only put there by the church because he was an American, and they thought that he would be the best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump. Oh my god, he's hitting you with the deep state pope situation is crazy. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican. Unfortunately, Leo's weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons, does not sit well with me, nor does the fact that he meets the Obama sympathizers like David Axelrod, a loser from the left, true fact check, true by the way, who is one of those people who wanted churchgoers and clerics to be arrested. Leo should get his act together as pope, use common sense, stop catering to the radical left, and focus on being a great pope, not a politician. It's hurting him very very badly, and more importantly, it's hurting the Catholic Church. President Donald J. Trump. This is a wild tweet, bro, beefing with the Pope. Now, I'm going to get into all the nitty-gritty. We're going to break this apart. We're going to break it apart with the responses. But first, let me tell you my opinion, all right? And I don't want to offend anybody, but I am going to be honest, because that's kind of my brand. I think it's silly that Donald Trump made this tweet and that he's beefing with the Pope. I think it's counterproductive. I think it's stupid. I think that Donald Trump was the first time a Catholic majority voted Republican as opposed to Democrat. And I think it was a silly thing to tweet. That said, I think everything he's saying in this tweet is correct, though. Look, man, just because I think, hypothetically, if I were to think that Muslims are all people that worship a pedophile as their prophet, that doesn't mean I'm going to go into the middle of a mosque and start screaming about how they're pedophiles worshiping a prophet. And I think that's kind of the situation I find myself here. I agree with every single word Donald Trump said. I just think that he shouldn't have said it. And we're going to get into it. It's sad, but I think that the Catholic Church kind of was a little bit infiltrated by some rather uncouth radical leftists. And I think it's heartbreaking. Because I think the Catholic Church has done like an unbelievable amount of good for the world. Now, full disclaimer, I am not a Catholic, and I do not view the Pope as like an absolute authority on all things. I view him as a holy man that believes in God and is doing his absolute best to help shepherd the people to salvation. But that doesn't make him a prophet. Anyway, the Trump-Pope situation gets even worse somehow. So, Senator Mark Kelly, this is a leftist, says, as a Catholic, I find it abhorrent that the President of the United States should publicly attack the successor of St. Peter. Donald Trump is flailing. This war in Iran has led to the death and injury of American servicemen. Yeah, because, you know, notably, no people ever died in wars in the Bible, right? The first time people have ever died in war. The death of Iranian children. You know, Iran shouldn't have been trying to build nukes, and none of their children would have died. Again, this is like actual retard shit. You know, like if you actually open up the Bible, God commands war many times. He'll attack anyone or anything who tries to protect himself, even the church that millions of Americans find faith and comfort in every day. The American people deserve a president who understands the consequence of his words and takes responsibility for his actions. First of all, the American people elected this guy. So you could stop fucking flailing about this. That's one. And two, and I mean this with absolute certainty, Senator Mark Kelly, you shut the ever-loving fuck up. Every single Catholic on the left that's furious at Trump for criticizing the Pope is part of a party that murders 1 million American babies every single year through abortion. If you actually read the Bible, which is the word of God, unlike the Pope's, you will not find the condoning of gay marriage and of child murder. You will, however, find waging war and obliterating your enemies. So, from my perspective, this is just a gigantic virtue signal. Now, if you have Catholics that are right-wing that criticize Trump, I think that's perfectly valid. But every left-wing Catholic has already completely and utterly prostrated himself in front of the devil. And your words mean literally nothing. Yeah, I'm going hard on this one. I'm definitely going to piss off some people. All right, anyway, Donald Trump then made this tweet. Donald Trump posted an image portraying himself as Jesus Christ. Now, this is obviously Jesus Christ. Even though, you know, he makes it sound like later that he didn't realize it was Jesus Christ. It's obviously what the portrayal is, whether he knew it or not. I do not know. All right. Trump then deleted the tweet after getting backlash. And then this is what he had to say about it.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it. And I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor.
Yeah, no one thinks you're a doctor shooting holy light from your hands into Jeffrey Epstein's corpse over here to bring him back. No one's thinking of that, my guy. Now, you know, Donald Trump is like an 80-year-old guy, mega giga boomer. He sees AI slop image and he thinks it's cool and posts it. I wouldn't put that past him, but yeah, you didn't need to double down on that one, my guy. I appreciate that he deleted it, but I think this was, again, a really just stupid trigger finger tweeting situation over here. Like, it's just obviously offensive for the sake of being offensive, in my opinion. Now, anyway, if you look at the people upset about this, it's the people you would least expect. So this is one of the greatest tweets of all time. All right, so here we have Sneeko, a Muslim, saying, we stand with the Pope and the beautiful religion of Catholicism. According to Islam, Sneeko's a Muslim. According to Islam, you have to execute Catholics because they view Catholics as polytheists. And to quote the Quran, Jews and Christians are the lowest of creatures. Trump is committing the greatest act of blasphemy. It's not blasphemy if you're a Muslim. If you love America, condemn this evil immediately. All right, this is the Sneeko Takia strategy. All right, so this is a Muslim making believe he cares about Catholicism. Then you have Milo, a homosexual retweeting it saying the Muslim Catholic alliance is real. Oh my fucking God. What are we doing here, boy? What are we doing here, boys? All right, we don't need to get into the fact that Muslims have been massacring Christians throughout Africa. Thousands of Christians are murdered by Muslims in Africa every single year. All right, and then it gets retweeted by John Mappin, a Russian propagandist. This is the greatest image of all time. We have John Mappin, a Russian propagandist, retweeting a homosexual talking about the Muslim Catholic alliance, retweeting a Muslim talking about how Catholicism is beautiful to attack Trump. Holy fucking shit. This is like an actual, hang it in the Louvre. This image is fantastic. All right. Now, of course, this is the, this is crazy. This is the president of Iran. His Holiness, Pope Leo, I condemn the insult to your excellency on behalf of the great nation of Iran. This is like the craziest suck-up moment of all time. You know, Trump makes a tweet saying that the Pope is weak on crime. He got the Iranian president being like, I totally love you, Pope. Pope, you're awesome. And I declare that the desecration of Jesus, the prophet of peace, notice how he doesn't call him, he calls him a prophet of peace. This is actual, according to Christianity, this is blasphemy. All right, because this is saying that he's not divine. All right, and brotherhood is not acceptable to any free person. I wish you glory by Allah. All right, so just to be clear, all right, according to Catholicism, this is more blasphemous than the original Trump tweet calling out the Pope. But just saying, I just thought that was funny. Now, again, this is coming from the guy that shut the internet off in Iran while he massacred tens of thousands of their own people. Just trying to understand our context here. This guy is glazing the Pope right now. So Sneeko says, all right, Muslim, Sharia law would have a president arrested for depicting himself as a god. Lowercase, notice. With demons flying around, by the way. That's why we thank God we have the First Amendment. And you don't believe in it, clearly, so you should probably get deported. All right, and a lot of people have been doing this. This is Sneeko. We all stand with the Pope. Also, Sneeko, Jesus Christ was a Muslim. Crazy levels of grift. All right, here we have Cenk Uygur, Muslim, Turkish guy. I can't get over the blasphemous picture Trump put up comparing himself to Jesus Christ. Either he didn't know that we're not supposed to compare yourself to the Lord and Savior. What are we doing? What are we doing? Cenk Uygur has an entire series on his YouTube channel saying that Christians are all evil fascists. What are we doing, my guy? All right, which is a stunning level of ignorance, or he did it on purpose to disrespect and mock people. Wow. Right, this is a Muslim making believe he cares after he shits on Christians every single day on his YouTube channel, and I'm not exaggerating. He has like an entire series of shitting on Christians. That's like the whole series on the Young Turks YouTube channel, saying that Christians are all fascists and they're horrible people. This is literally his thing. And how dare you compare yourself to the Lord and Savior? Like, this outrage is like actual bullshit, man. Like, what are we doing here? Right, under Sharia law, Trump would have been arrested for posting that picture. There's freedom of speech, my guy. What are we doing? All right? It's insane. So it's like, wow, Trump sure is a Christian, showing a picture of Trump with a yarmulke. He's a secret Jew. All right. Meanwhile, the Pope also, you know, goes to the Western Wall. All the popes do that too. So, you know, anyway, it's just, again, the discourse is just unbelievable, bro. So then you got people being like, I guess it's time to pick a side. The Pope or the President of the United States. Man, this is brutal, bro. I feel like Jews and Catholics both end up getting hit with the dual loyalty allegations all the time. Oh, you're a Jew? You have dual loyalty to Israel. Oh, you're a Catholic? You have dual loyalty to the church. You're not America first. And shit like this really doesn't help. And what does this even mean? Like, I never viewed Trump as getting elected to be some sort of spiritual leader. I don't think Trump is a very religious man at all. Dude, I was talking to my aunt. I got my aunt to vote for Trump, all right? Because obviously you saw what happened under Biden, and my aunt was like, all right, I'm going to go for Trump. But I hate him, and I don't want to vote for him because he's mean to women, you know, the classic situation. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not marrying the guy. This guy's going to stop rapists from coming into the country. This is the guy that's nice to women. I would rather a guy who says grab him by the pussy and prevents rapists from coming into the country than a guy who's all politically correct and then lets rapists come into the country. Like, we are reaching bottom of the barrel, low IQ conversations these days. Groypers. The Jews are pushing for open borders. The Pope. Open the borders. The Groypers. Anyone who criticizes the Pope is a Jew. It's pretty insane. So now we have to get into the fact that Trump is actually completely correct about the Pope. And I don't want to be rude here, but I do think that the Pope is an operative somehow. I do think that there was, unfortunately and tragically, an infiltration in the Catholic Church. Like, for example, Catholics' majority have been voting for Democrats. Until Trump, every single election had majority of Catholics voting for Democrats. You know, the murder babies, trans children, gay marriage guys. And it's really heartbreaking, honestly. I know this is going to sound a little bit sermon-y, and that's really not my job here, but one of the most incredible parts of the Bible is when Moses goes up on Mount Sinai and God gives the 10 Commandments to all of the 600,000 plus Israelites in the desert, gives and reveals himself to all of them at the same time. My perspective is we were all given the word of God, and we were all given free will to decide how to follow it or not follow it. Just like in everything, there are good priests and good rabbis and bad rabbis and good imams probably and bad imams. Human beings are inherently not infallible. And dear Catholic bishops, you've spent more time publicly outraged about Trump's Truth Social posts than Iran-backed Islamists slaughtering Christians. And I feel like that is just yeah, man. Just what are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Where was the Pope when Trump was defending Christians in Nigeria? The Pope had spoken about Christians' persecution in Nigeria. Oh, that's good. He made a tweet about it. That is really good, actually. Are you aware, though, that Donald Trump literally bombed the Nigerian Muslims that have been massacring Christians there? And it's really not just Nigeria. If you actually look around at Middle Eastern populations, every single Christian population in the Middle East has decreased drastically. You know, Egypt used to be a Christian majority country. So did Lebanon. All right. So did Lebanon. So did Jordan. So did Kuwait and Bahrain. All right. So did Sudan. So did the Congo. These all used to be Christian majority countries, and now they're not. Syria has slaughters of Christians every day, and we're upset about Trump's Truth Social posts. Like again, are we being serious here for a second? You know, Pope Leo meets with James Martin, calls for the welcoming of LGBTQ Catholics days after radical trans attack on U.S. Catholic school. What are we doing here, man? What are we doing? I'm supposed to expect this guy say that this guy is the emissary of God when he directly contradicts God. Like, are we being serious for a second, man? So this is the Pope calling for open borders. God's love break down walls. Open borders dispels hatred, the Pope says. During Pentecost Mass, Pope Leo prayed that the Holy Spirit would open the hearts to make room for God's love. Where is the love? There is no room for prejudice, for security zones separating us from our neighbors, for the exclusionary mindset that tragically we now see emerging in political nationalisms, he says. Right, so the Trump wants open borders. Well, what are we doing, man? Well, are we being serious? Open borders just causes infinite child rape. That was the result of open borders in England. Countries need borders. In fact, in Deuteronomy, it says explicitly that, you know, if you welcome your neighbor into your country and you give them power, they'll eventually take power over you and take your country from you. Like, what are we doing here? Especially because you are aware that the Vatican has walls, right? If you will get deported from the Vatican immediately if you do something. Pope Leo denounces extremely disrespectful treatment of immigrants in the U.S. Like, so are we not allowed to criticize the Pope's political stances if the Pope is actually talking about politics? Like, if the Pope wasn't talking about politics, I would totally get the idea of don't get him involved. But if he isn't making these statements, are we not allowed to talk about them in return? Like, if he didn't want to get dragged into politics, he shouldn't have gotten political. I just feel like he's, you know, one of the most important people on the planet, and we should be having discussions about what the guy says. Even though I don't think Trump should have done it, I do think Trump was right. We got a woke Pope, man. We do. This dude blessed a giant block of ice for global warming purposes. Right, Cardinal Prevost, that's who became Pope Leo, was promoted by Pope Francis, given a prominent Vatican position during his papacy. We found Prevost's Twitter feed last year where he was thrashing Trump and Vance, as well as border enforcement and praising George Floyd. You know, and it's like, what am I supposed to do here, man? What am I supposed to do here? All right, so this was Pope Leo's first tweet after Trump called him out. Communion between Christians and Muslims takes shape under the mantle of Our Lady in Africa. Here in Algeria, the maternal love of Lala Maryam gathers everyone as children within our rich diversity, in our shared aspiration for dignity, love, justice, and peace. In a world where division and war sow pain and death, living in unity and peace is a compelling sign. That's great! But you do realize Muslims are massacring Christians everywhere right now. Like, just being honest. Like, it's nice. He doesn't want war, because he doesn't want, let's say, Israel to bomb Hezbollah, which Israel is doing right now. You realize Hezbollah has been massacring Christians in Lebanon. 10 years ago, Lebanon was 60% Christian, and right now, Lebanon is 30% Christian. How did that happen? So, you know, Donald Trump makes a tweet about him, and his epic response, and this is great, his epic response is, I'm so glad that we have lovely friendship between Christians and Muslims. Peace is beautiful. So this guy says, legal penalty for Christians proselytizing in Algeria at Grok. All right, so let's go. Under Algerian ordinance, proselytizing by non-Muslims, inciting, seducing, or using materials to convert or shake the faith of a Muslim is a crime. 2 to 5 years imprisonment, cost of 500,000 to 1 million Algerian dinars. All right, pretty great stuff for religious leaders, etc., yada, yada. So essentially, this dude's in Algeria talking about the Muslim-Christian communion, which is awesome and stuff. And meanwhile, if you literally try to proselytize in Algeria, you go to jail for 5 years for trying to shake the faith of a Muslim. Like, this dude is nicer to Muslims that currently engage in the massacre of Christians than he is to Protestants. This is actually shocking, man. All right, now, just to understand the level of collapse we're dealing with, the Pope announced a massive, gigantic, great news.
For the first time in its history, the Vatican has set aside a prayer room for Muslims inside the Apostolic Library, a move that has sparked wide debate across media and social platforms. Deputy Prefect of the Vatican Apostolic Library, Don Giacomo Cardinali, said the decision came after several visiting Muslim researchers requested a small space with a prayer rug to perform their prayers.
Yeah, so now there's a special Muslim prayer space inside the Vatican. Like, understand what's going. This is conquest, and y'all are just letting it happen, bro. What are we doing? The Pope is weak on crime is the funniest thing he's ever said. Well, you want to see something even funnier? You're laughing. Did you know that there are 1.33 crimes per capita in Vatican City? just for those of you unaware. All right, I know it's a small population, you know. So obviously that's it's a funny statistic. But you know that per capita is 1.33 crimes per capita? That's fucking insane, dude. Holy shit. Meanwhile, right after this takes place, in a rare joint interview, 3 of America's most influential cardinals who actively serve Archiondian, I don't know, man. I don't speak Christian. Share what they're hearing in their pews. All right, so that's nice. So they're going to go out there and they're going to talk. All right, that's awesome. America kills 1 million unborn human beings every year through abortion, and yet 3 leading cardinals go on 60 Minutes to promote left-wing talking points on Trump, illegal... I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude here, but U.S. military action in Venezuela was awesome. It was fucking incredible. All right, not only did we liberate the Venezuelan people, but we stopped 98% of drugs coming into our country. 98% of drugs coming into our country through sea and air were stopped. But through this situation, we arrested a drug lord, a narco-terrorist. All right, we took 0 casualties. It was objectively amazing. And then, of course, we have this guy just sitting there and criticizing it. Like, I get why Trump is frustrated about this. Meanwhile, America kills 1 million babies a year. 1 million babies a year through abortion. And none of the cardinals had anything to say about that? Like, what are we even doing here? Now, to just show you how overblown the op is actually getting, Pakistan has nukes pointed at India and Israel, but we're supposed to hate them? Yeah, they also have rapists pointed at basically all of Europe, I suppose. All right? So Tucker Carlson produces this fantastic piece today. The people in charge don't want you to know this, but Muslims love Jesus. Whoa, dude. Oh, my God. Did Christians have Muslims wrong all along? They had them wrong all along. When the Crusades happened, maybe they should have instead just turned around and spread their buttholes to get raped instead. Wow, I didn't see this one coming. Islam reveres him as a major prophet and the messenger of the Lord, believes he performed miracles, and states he will return to earth to defeat the Antichrist. That's why Donald Trump's painting depicting himself as the son of God offended the president of Iran. No, that's not why. He used it as a little fucking talking point. What are we even talking about? It was an attack on his religion as well as Christianity. You know, Tucker Carlson became like a radical anti-Trumper, pro-Muslim guy. Like, I don't know what we're even doing here, man. Like, let's be serious. Trump's meme, while, yeah, sure, I get it was offensive, in my opinion, isn't nearly as offensive as the mass massacres of Christians throughout the Muslim countries. But apparently Tucker Carlson, who never feels the need to mention the fact that keeps happening, Tucker Carlson has no issue with that. You see, the people in charge don't want you to know this, but Muslims love Jesus. I mean, yes, they will execute you if you pray to Jesus or think he's God, but they love him. Or at least, you know, they love their own version of him, which is a totally different guy. They don't believe in the crucifixion. They don't believe in the resurrection. But they love Jesus, bro! The people in charge don't want you to know. Unlike Trump. The Muslims are our friends. Yeah. Anyway, Pakistan. Muslim man kidnaps 13-year-old Christian girl, holds her captive for 6 months. She was raped, forced to convert to Islam and marry him. When her father reported the abduction, guess what happened? Well, the Sharia court granted custody to the kidnapper. This is Islam. All right? Let's just understand what we're dealing with here. Now, this Charlie Kirk tweet from 2016 remains super relevant. Trump versus the Pope, a fight of biblical proportions. Dude, I miss this man so much. He was just a good man, and he was taken from this world so soon in a horrible tragedy. And all of these power-hungry sycophants tried to take his fucking place immediately by putting lies in his mouth. To quote Charlie Kirk, Islam is the sword the left wields to slit the throat of America. And then Tucker Carlson steps in immediately to push this bullshit and dance on his grave. In conclusion, I mean no offense to any of these people. I don't want to offend anybody or anybody's faith here specifically. I mentioned earlier that I view a really close kinship with Christians in general. I do believe that we worship the same God and that our value systems have a 90+% overlap. My stance is when the end times arrive, someone will get vindicated. And I am very open to taking the L if that vindication comes to someone else. I pray God gets us there safely and in peace. But yeah, woke Pope. I called it from the beginning. Disagree with Trump's tweet by the fact that he made it, but I actually agree with everything he said. But woke Pope. Pope Trump drama is insane. Just wild to me that the Pope is watching the rape of Europe in front of him and still saying that actually we shouldn't have borders and we should import the third world. We must protect the indigenous people of Europe. Boo! And this is basically what we're dealing with everywhere right now. So you're not ready for the level of dipshit that we're dealing with right now. The U.S. Border Patrol apprehends 4 British citizens for entering the USA illegally from Canada through a remote area in Maine. Right, they've been identified as Mohammed Sultan Saleh, Ali Mohammed Abi Abdullah, Hamid Mohammed Nagi, and Ibrahim Ayub Khan. These are the 4 British people trying to invade America illegally through Canada. So understand, Trump actually does have the border on lockdown, thank God. And these are British people. These are British people. I'm sure that, you know, your average Englishman woke up, saw the news, and was like, thank God they're in America, not here. But like, I'm not lying, bro. I'm not lying. And I think British people, I don't think 3 guys named Mohammed and 1 guy named Ibrahim Ayub. All right, like, wow, bro. Sweden, Muslim classmates gang rape 14-year-old girl in school. Remains enrolled because rapists are victims too, says principal. How do you not start a civil war? How do you not just immediately call for a revolution if this shit happens? This is insane. But borders are good. The Pope says we need to take down our borders, guys. All right, so understand what's going on in Canada for a second before we get into England, because the England situation is insane. All right, so understand. So this is Canada.
But I'm going to, this is a little off script. A week after the Prime Minister made his speech in Davos, Switzerland, he made another speech in Ottawa at the Canadian Media Producers Association, CMPA. And this speech talked about Canada's most successful cultural export we have had this year, and that's heated rivalries. Now think about that for a minute, because as Anita said, and Maninder is working, we are promoting Canada as an exporting and country worthy of investment. We are doing that. We are opening doors in India. We are opening doors in China. We are opening doors in Vietnam and all over the world. Bro. But we're taking our values with us.
Oh,
so heated rivalry is an example of that. Truly Canadian, set in Canada, and we don't let up for 1 minute on the 2S LGBTQI human rights issues. Not 1 minute.
This is a joke country, man.
And we don't let up on our absolute insistence that women and men play equally in our world.
Bro, actual joke country, man. Canada is a feminized, castrated country of parasitic, ideologically captured, pathological, suicidal empathy. Just true, man. Just straight up true. And that's why Canada voted at the UN for Iran to be on the Human Rights Organization. Canada voted for Islamic Republic of Iran. The theocracy that murdered 30,000 of its own people. These are the people that they voted on to be in charge of human rights. Like, this is fucking insane, bro. And this is just what Canada's become. Canada's become like an actual laughingstock. You know, Canada could have stayed good friends with the United States and been awesome, but they decided to be gay instead.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+.
But, like, are we being serious here, man? Like, are we being serious?
This is abhorrent.
It's abhorrent. There's a genocide. Not just is there racism, but there's a genocide against the MMIWG2SLGBTQIA+. Like, new Wi-Fi password just dropped. Holy shit, dude. This is a member of Canadian Parliament, by the way. This isn't just some random retard. Well, I guess it is a random retard, but this random retard got elected. For those of you who don't speak woke retard, I looked it up, and apparently MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+ means missing and murdered indigenous women, girls, two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual. So apparently they added a murdered people into the LGBT community. Murdered is now a queer identity. This is Canada, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, Canada's major export is retard these days. And it's like, when I think of countries that should be our allies, that share our values, I don't think of Canada. I don't think of England. I don't think of Europe. Like, I'm thinking of El Salvador and Argentina and Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and Israel and Japan. I'm not thinking of any of our neighbors or any of the people that came from Christianity like America did. Like it's crazy. What is this, bro? You identify as murdered, bro? Oh my God, this is insane. This is just every single clip I see from Canada is worse than the last.
We will not let fear win. A world without trans people has never existed. A world without drag has never existed, and it never will.
I mean, God did talk about it in, Deuteronomy when he said that men cross-dressing as women are an abomination against God. So yeah, I guess they did exist, as abominations against God.
Queer people have always been here amongst us. They are our coworkers. They are our brothers, our sisters. They are our mothers, our fathers. They are our family.
No, they're not.
Drag is art. Drag is culture. Drag is educational. Drag is crazy.
Yeah, so abomination against God got a little platform to talk in Canada. All right, pretty awesome. Isn't that great? So anyway, just to understand the difference between countries that care about their borders and countries that don't, this is the Israeli security forces. They managed to find this garbage truck was traveling across the border. Check this out. This is crazy. This just happened today. Smuggling 60 Palestinians across the border. They got caught and they are all in jail, right? This is part of the genocide, I'm told. Right? Crazy footage. Israeli security forces find 60 Palestinians hiding inside a garbage truck attempting to infiltrate Israel. Right? They were probably coming in trying to do another October 7th or some shit. Driver detained for questioning. Suspects taken into custody. All right, I'm told this is a genocide. Now, this is the actual story. The way the retards retell the story is 60 Palestinians were transported by the Israeli Defense Forces in a garbage truck. Israel is oppressing innocent Palestinians and the world remains silent. No, the world remains silent. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This is literally retarded shit. And then you have, this is Zionism. Says Liam Cunnilingus over here, famous British retard. Yes, it is Zionism, the way that the Jews transport the Palestinians in garbage trucks, except this was literally them trying to invade the country and they were stopped. This dude thinks every country needs to accept the boat migrants. The migrants that come on boats need to get accepted and welcomed into your countries. What are we doing here? Anyway, this is an ad in Germany, in Denmark, sorry. This is crazy. It shows a white Danish, you have to see it. Now, there's a community note, and I'm sure you're going to see this and think it's fake. No, the community note doubles down and says the ad is not satire. It was falsely called satire, but the ad is real. All right? This is the first time I've ever seen a community note saying what you're seeing in this is actually real, and people are saying it's fake, but they're wrong. Cuck boyfriend can't even get a little cookie. But don't worry, because cuck therapist was watching and stopped them. And cuck therapist explains to them the following. An expert shows up and out of nowhere tells them not to date each other because it's basically inbreeding for whites to have babies with other whites. They should have kids with non-whites instead. This is an actual ad in Denmark. So let's understand this. They don't ban cousin marriage in Denmark because they want the Muslims to be able to keep fucking their family. However, they say that white people dating is basically inbreeding and they need to date non-whites. Not even exaggerating. We must protect the indigenous people. of Europe. Yeah, anyway. So, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, this is the retard that basically gave amnesty and citizenship to 500,000 illegals in Spain to steal elections. So, his wife is getting charged with corruption, bribery, and influence peddling. Ireland is falling apart as well. Ireland is deploying armored vehicles and military against farmers.
So when it comes to home insurance, it makes...
Literally, they're sending the military against farmers because farmers hate the woke shit. And so they, you know, our farmers did like a little bit of a blockade with their trucks, and Ireland is sending in the actual military to deal with the farmers. Conor McGregor from Ireland released like this badass, we did good, guys. We fought hard. We stopped them with our farmers.
What's up, Ireland? I hope you all had a great Easter, because I had my best one yet. Seeing the courage of our people standing together in unity against the failed rule of this government has been incredible. It has also been eye-opening. No matter which side of the political divide you are on, one thing is for certain. This government has lost the confidence of the public, and that is it.
Yeah, so now we have Conor McGregor going out there and making like these epic rise up moments like to the Irish people that are fighting back against their oppressive regime, their oppressive woke retard regime. It's wild that we're watching this. All right, so this is just a little bit of cultural enrichment going on in England right now. Yep, good shit. Glad we brought that guy into our countries. Am I right, guys? Hell yeah. So this is a Green Party executive, right? Just to understand, Green Party is like the leftists. It's the Muslims and the communists that got together for the Green Party. All right, so this is an executive committee member that is currently standing for local election in England, chanting death to Israel, death to America, death to England. Flatten Israel, build a Palestinian state, guys. Guys, there's a call in the Green Party executive committee that I am part of, and I don't want to go. Right, dude? No, let's just understand what's going on. You literally have a guy in the Green Party running for office in England, chanting death to England. Like, this is like actual suicidal empathy, bro. This is BBC London. Police issued a warning after suspected poisoned meat found in 2 West London green spaces, leaving animals seriously ill and dead. They're poisoning food to kill dogs because Muslims hate dogs. Dude, what are we doing? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing, guys? This is fucking insane. Like, of course they have to kill our dogs. It's their culture to hate dogs. Why are they here? No one asks that question. That's obviously too offensive. The BBC made a show about school in Britain. This is real. This is a real BBC British Broadcasting ad about school life in Britain.
It's almost been 10 minutes. If no teacher shows up, we're legally allowed to leave.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies.
Oh my days, Salma. Do you have nothing better to do?
When a sister salams you, you're supposed to say, Wa alaikum assalam.
This is British television, man.
Get a job. A real job, unique.
It's almost been 10 minutes.
Are we being serious for a second here? This is British television right now? Like, you guys are so conquered. You guys are actually conquered. And then the Pope says we don't need borders. I'm being real here. So this is what J.D. Vance had to say, and he was just completely right.
I was talking with a friend recently, and we were talking about, you know, one of the big dangers in the world, of course, is nuclear proliferation, though, of course, the Biden administration doesn't care about it. And I was talking about, you know, what is the first truly Islamist country that will get a nuclear weapon? And we were like, maybe it's Iran. You know, maybe Pakistan already kind of counts. And then we sort of finally decided maybe it's actually the UK, since Labour just took over.
Hilarious and tragic. Now, a man was charged with murder of Finbar Sullivan, 21, who was stabbed in Primrose Hill. Guess who the man was, guys? Was his name Chris? Nope. Was his name David, perhaps? Nope. It was a guy named Oluwumanduwalola Ogunman Kinkyu. I'm not even... Dude, why was this guy in England? Anyway, whatever. We're not allowed to talk about this. So this is a breaking news story that just happened. I'm sorry if this is ruining your day. All these stories that I'm showing you all happened like within the last 24 to 48 hours. Like, I am not like compiling a history of bad things. This is literally things that happened in the last day or two. 29 Muslim men convicted of raping a single 13-year-old girl in West Yorkshire. 29 men on one little girl. Barbarians, savages, How many little girls need to suffer because we need to admit these people don't belong into our country? Great question. Asad Ali, Amjad Azid, Mohammed Janglier, Mohammed Asif, Haris Ahmed Boot, Tokir Boot, Musta'im Khan, Mohammed Hamza, Mohsin Mir, Javad Mir, Harun Sadiq. We get the idea. These 29 Muslims convicted of raping a single 13-year-old girl. How many children need to be sacrificed on this altar of diversity so you can feel better about yourselves? So Keir Starmer releases this tweet. The brutal, senseless murders of baby Elsie and Alice marked one of the darkest moments in our country's history. The report today is truly harrowing and profoundly disturbing. It sets out systematic failures that led to this terrible event. I've been overwhelmed by the bravery and determination of their families. And while nothing will ever bring these 3 little girls back, I'm determined to make the fundamental changes needed to keep the public safe. I will do everything to honor the memory of baby Elsie. These people were murdered by, and this is going to shock you, it's going to shock you, immigrant Muslims. And he says he's going to solve the problem, but his solutions never seem to, include deporting the Muslims. like, I'm sorry if I'm noticing, but he's not stopping the immigration. He's not deporting the people that are doing it. What solution could there possibly be? Well, I know, we could blame the far right. So this was him putting out a public statement right after these murders took place.
I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend. Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow. I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online and then running away.
If you are online whipping up far-right action, you're going to go to jail now, I guess. All right, so you put out public statements lying about it being a far-right plot, prejudicing trials, saying anyone involved would make to live by regret. Judges jumped in line, jailed Brits en masse, destroyed families, pushed Peter Lynch to suicide. It's on you. And this is crazy, man. This is just wild. All right, so this dude, while laying the wreath, all right, at their memorial, knew exactly what happened and still tried to go ahead and make believe it was some sort of far-right plot anyway. You don't hate these people nearly enough. And in fact, the freedom of information requests, the FOIA requests, like that these people have been trying to, put into the system to try to figure out and get information on different convictions and crimes. Well, what if I told you that they started banning people from accessing public information? What if I told you they fucking suck?
MP banned from making freedom of information requests on website after...
What does this even mean? Banned from making freedom of information requests? It's like, oh my God, too many Muslim rapists are showing up. I know what to do. We don't stop the Muslim rapists. We stop them from finding the Muslim rapists.
They're submitting over 1,000 requests. I wonder who it could be. It's Rupert Law.
And there he is. There it is every time.
He's getting all the information about migrant statistics and migrant crimes and all of this other stuff. And he's basically standing up in Parliament going, so, and just basically bodying everybody with all of these statistics. And basically it's got to the point where they're like, shut it down. Shut it down, he's learning too much stuff. He's finding out too much of the bad shit that's happening. And he keeps telling everybody. So
they're literally shutting down their own freedom of information request access from the guy researching migrant crime. It's like, they can't say they didn't know what was happening. They can't say it was like an oopsie poopsie, some sort of mistake or misunderstanding, because they're literally not even letting people investigate it.
Telling everybody all the horrible things that are happening because of our actions and just making us very upset. So he's been banned from making freedom, which I don't think they're allowed to do. I don't think they're
definitely
actually allowed
illegal.
To do that. Rupert Law, the MP for Great Yarmouth and the leader of the Restore Britain party, has been barred from using the Freedom of Information website What Do They Know? The decision, which follows Mr Law submitting over 1,000 requests, was criticised by the MP as not in the spirit of transparency.
No shit!
Now, it seems that he is just asking for this information because it's information that he requires. He's just like, he just needs the information. Like, that's it. It is part of his work. He's an MP. He's an MP trying to bring around change, and in order to bring around accuracy.
Think about how insane this is. First of all, I don't think they should be allowed to even shut down freedom of information requests from like your average citizen. But they are stopping a member of the British Parliament from learning about public records. This is crazy, bro. Like, this is actually insane.
Accurate change, you need accurate data and accurate statistics so that you can make informed decisions on legislation. Right? So he is perfectly within his remit to be asking for this information. Mr. Lowe's extensive inquiries through the platform, which facilitates public access to government information, included questions on diversity, equity and inclusion, DEI hires and training, alleged grooming gangs, and universal credit provisions for refugees. For the Yanks who don't know, that's welfare. What Do They Know operates as an independent online archive, enabling users to easily submit and monitor their freedom of information requests to Whitehall departments and other public bodies. Mr. Lowe's account was suspended after the site said he had used it to send general messages to public authorities or for personal messages to public organizations. He's a politician. He's a politician. He's supposed to be doing all that stuff. In a statement on Tuesday, Mr. Lowe told the Press Association, sadly, our access has been restricted, which I do not believe is in the spirit of transparency.
No shit.
Our teams have uncovered huge scandals through FOI and investigation work. This censorship will not stop us from containing those efforts. So basically, he found out a little bit too much stuff. Government's like, stop telling people that. Stop telling people all the data about...
That's literally accurate. He's just finding out what the government covered up, which should be public record, and they're banning him from researching it. It's Islamophobic to notice that Muslims are raping kids in England? Like, I'm sorry, man.
All the awful things that we're doing to them, stop it. Stop it, report. Stop telling on us. Anyway, Restore Britain is the only political party first correctly identifying the issues, but more importantly, outlining how to solve it. What a novel approach that is.
True!
Is fair. A spokesperson for What Do They Know confirmed to the Press Association that Mr. Lowe had been banned from using the website, but declined to comment further. I can tell you now, has he been submitting an awful lot of requests? Yeah, he probably has been.
Yeah, but who cares?
Probably has been. However, he is an MP, he is the leader of a political party. Basically, they have to decide things like legislation, their manifesto and stuff like that, and in order to do that, you need a shit ton of data. You do need a shit ton of data. If you're like, here, this is my plan for running the country, if anything, 1,000 data points seems kind of fucking low, like, if I'm being honest, right? So, he's perfectly within his right to do it.
It's just absolutely shocking, because it's not just him. This should be perfectly in the rights of any British citizen to do, let alone a member of the fucking parliament, banned from investigating how Muslims are raping white girls. Now, what could the agenda possibly be? So, borders are evil. We're not allowed to have borders on our countries. Everyone should be welcome into our countries. Also, do not investigate how they rape you, because if you notice that they rape you a lot, well, then you might really be wanting those borders again. Now, one of the biggest anti-Trump Democrat politicians of all time, one of the most open borders, communist morons ever, guy that was a congressman running for governor in California, and just generic total a-hole, is having his entire career exploding in the most hilarious way ever. And I say hilarious not to minimize the horrible things that happened to his alleged victims. I say hilarious because it's always from the ones you most expect. I'm sorry, but if you're a white guy and you're a Democrat, you're probably either a loser that's trying to get girls to like you, or you're a predator. I guess there's a third option, and that you're just, like, actually brain dead, but we're going to focus on the first two. So this guy, who I've been making fun of for a while now, Eric Swalwell, is done. He's not just ended his career, he's leaving in disgrace. He's quitting all his positions, and he is probably going to jail. Now, this dude was seduced and slept with a Chinese spy a couple of years ago, and he's also investigated for tons of fraud. But now he's really done. So he posted this video on Twitter. Hear it directly from me. These allegations are flat false, and I will fight them. All right, so as you can see, this got 10 million views, 16,000 likes, but 47,000 replies. This did not go well. This did not go well. The allegations are false. I will fight them. This is coming from Believe All Victims. Trump is a pedophile because his name appears in a piece of paper that Epstein's name is also written on. Literally, that's what we're dealing with right here. All right, so first we have to watch his video, because this is when I first saw the news. He posts this very viral video saying the allegations are false. Right, let's hear what he has to say.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations, and I thought it was important.
They're anonymous anyway, right? Not like the women came out and went on camera after he posted this video and completely humiliated him or anything. Anyway, definitely lock in, because this deep dive is fucking crazy. Average white leftist.
That you see and hear from me directly. These allegations of sexual assault are flat false.
Okay.
They're absolutely false.
Okay.
They did not happen.
Okay.
They have never happened. And I
Okay.
will fight them with everything that I have.
All right, huge.
They also come on the eve of an election.
You mean we shouldn't believe all women? Wait. But you mean we shouldn't believe all women? Oh, wow. Wow, this is a new turn for the Democratic Party.
Where I have been the frontrunner candidate for governor in California.
Not anymore.
I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint. I have certainly made mistakes in judgment in my past. But
yeah, you slept with the Chinese spy.
Those mistakes are between me and my wife. And to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position.
This position meaning you cheated on her with a Chinese spy.
I also apologize to you if in any way you have doubted your support for me.
Doubted? Oh, you're done, bro.
But I think you know who I am.
Yeah.
For over 20 years,
a predator,
I have served
in
the
my
public.
opinion.
As a city councilman.
Served the public, where he became a multimillionaire.
As a member of Congress.
Sure.
And as a prosecutor who went to court on behalf of victims, particularly on behalf of sexual assault victims.
Isn't that incredible? Bro was a lawyer defending sexual assault victims. He was the white knight of white knights. Bro was defending women with every fiber of his being with his right hand and then allegedly raping them with his left hand. All right, this is honestly, truly incredible stuff. We are witnessing woke downfalls, the likes of which we have never seen before.
That's who I am and have always been. This weekend, I'm going to spend time with my family and friends. And I appreciate those who have reached out to me to show support. And I
wasn't one of those guys.
You very soon.
All right, so this is him standing steadfast in the face of these allegations. These allegations are flat false. I will fight. And he immediately suspends his campaign for governor. I am suspending my campaign for governor. To my family, staff, friends, and supporters, I'm deeply sorry for my mistakes and judgment I have made to you in my past. You know, like allegedly raping. I will fight the serious false allegations that have been made. But that's my fight, not the campaign's. Oh, my God. Anyway, if you look at his profile, he still has, I'm running for governor. He's so fucked. He's so cooked, bro. Right, this is Mr. Open Border. So no wonder why he wants to bring the rapists in the country. Maybe he wanted people of like-minded, allegedly like-minded people. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, Nick Shirley. Oh, bro, if you aren't fit to run a campaign, what makes you fit to continue your time as a congressman? Resign. Elon Musk. Bro, you should definitely fight those false allegations, especially all the videos of you doing weird shit with hookers. Oh my God. Bro's getting literally murdered in the comments. Oh my God. Elon Musk coming in with the fucking takedown. That poor Chinese spy that got the Swalwell assignment. Definition of taking one for the team. Oh my God. That's insane, bro. The Chinese spy took one for the team by having the assignment to sleep with absolute dumbfuck Eric Swalwell, alleged, leaker, treasonous, retard, alleged rapist. This is crazy. All right, so he releases this video saying all the allegations are false, I'm fighting. Then he releases a statement suspending his campaign for governor. Then some of the actual alleged victims show up on the news to talk about it.
Allegations. She's speaking now in California, Beverly.
Right, remember how we said that the allegations came from anonymous sources? Well,
Hills, let's watch.
In 2018, while I was living and working as a model in Beverly Hills, and I also owned a fashion software company, I had contact with Eric Swalwell on 3 separate occasions after meeting him socially. He offered me connections to further my software company.
Wow, power dynamic, eh?
And I also had an interest in local politics. He invited me to 2 public events. I knew he was married at the time and that his wife was pregnant.
Oh my God, what a fucking
friend.
monster.
On the 3rd occasion, I believe he drugged my drink.
Holy shit!
I only had 1 glass of wine. We were supposed to go to a political event, and he said he needed to get paperwork from his hotel room. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated, and I couldn't move my arms or my body.
What the fuck, dude?
He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. Although I did not undergo a rape kit at the time, I disclosed the assault to the people closest to me. I also recorded these events in my handwritten calendar. The assault and its impact were later documented during my therapy sessions at a sexual assault center.
Holy fucking shit. And this guy was out there fighting for women's rights and calling Donald Trump a pedophile and saying open the borders and holy shit. And this guy was like the front runner for California governor. This dude was straight up just the Democrat party, like Democrat Jesus. All right, I'm not even gonna lie. And oh my God. Now, I wasn't even gonna really mention this, but I feel like I should. Right? She said that she had like a drink of wine, and he allegedly drugged the drink and then raped her and strangled her and stuff. Then you have possibly the worst commentary of all time from Megyn Kelly. I don't know what happened to her.
So she goes on to then describe a 2019 encounter with him after a night of heavy drinking, which is the theme of this woman's story. She's apparently a very heavy drinker, or at least was during all the time she was with him. And that is another thing for which she needs to take responsibility.
What?
She needs to take responsibility. Don't put yourself in this position. And my friend, she did it twice. She went back to a night of heavy drinking with him after this interlude in which she claims she blacked out, they had sex, and by definition it was non-consensual because she remembers none of it.
What? Yeah, anyway, we don't need to get into I don't even know what happened to her at this point. Like, actually just running defense for this Swalwell character and shit. What are we even doing here? Like, again, you cannot believe her story, but if you believe her story, then it's not her fault. Bro, she said she had 1 drink, and then she got, again, maybe she's talking about something else, but I just saw that and I lost my mind. Anywho, then, of course, the actual allegations came out, and Eric Swalwell resigned from Congress. I am deeply sorry to my family, staff, and constituents for mistakes in judgment I've made in my past. What, like allegedly raping people? I will fight the serious false allegations made against me. However, I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make. I'm aware of the efforts to bring an immediate expulsion vote against me and other members. Expelling anyone in Congress without due process within days of allegation being made is wrong. What about due process?
She's speaking now in California, Beverly Hills. Let's watch.
Is that not insane? Mr. Due Process guy over here, it's like you can't deport illegal aliens without due process. You can't expel me without due process. This is crazy. Within days of an allegation being made. But it's also wrong for my constituents to have me distracted from my duties. Therefore, I plan to resign my seat in Congress. I will work with my staff for the upcoming days to ensure they are able, in my absence, to serve the needs of the good people in the 14th Congressional District. Bro, you are a fucking loser. Loser! All right, here's one of the worst aged tweets of all time from Eric Swalwell. To my Republican colleagues, sexual assault victims deserve justice. Do the right thing. Go sign the petition. It's so fucking over, bro. It's so fucking over, dude. You know, there is 0 allegations against Trump that are actually holding water in the Epstein files, yet this dude pushed it every single day. What an absolute loser. Now, Representative Anna Paulina Luna seems like she is gunning to put Eric Swalwell in jail.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is on the Oversight Committee, and she joins us now. All right, Congressman, what was Swalwell like in Congress? Did he have a rep?
Yeah, he did have a reputation. And as you know, Jesse, I was actually the member of Congress that wrote the expulsion resolution for him, and I was ready to call it up and did tell him that if he did not resign by tomorrow that it would be filed, and we did have the votes to expel him from Congress. So what I will say is that many people on the Hill knew about this. Many reporters have come forward, even in talking to me, saying that they had heard stories about this. But I do think that he has serious criminal problems on his hand, and I do think that he might end up in jail, Jesse. And if I could just share with you for a moment, not only did I receive forensic reporting showing that, you know, that infamous video of him in the hotel room was indeed him. It was not AI generated. But I'm also being told that, more stuff is going to be dropping in the next 24 hours. And then also potentially the individual that recorded that video in that hotel room, Jesse, was a female and she was underage.
Oh! Oh my God, dude. How does it keep getting worse for this guy? Dude, it's always the people you most expect. Wow, that's crazy. Pushes false allegations, has it all about him. That's insane, bro. Insane. And I love how people are like, oh, at least the Democrats are expelling their own people. But, bro, this was an open secret in the Democratic Party for like 10 years, apparently, and they did nothing about it. That's one. Two, what's the wrongdoing that Trump did? What wrongdoing did Trump do that he wasn't, like, literally in court for? Like, what are we doing here? This is a former Swalwell donor, multi-billionaire, saying he's no longer a Democrat. He just can't trust them anymore.
First say you're mad. I mean,
mad?
Yeah.
I am no longer a Democrat. I'm now a libertarian Republican. Because that's what a blue dog Democrat used to be. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's called executing, being accountable, enforcing, respect, responsibility, and results. Knowing what your job description is. Delivering results. Unifying. Making this country great.
He was one of Swalwell's biggest donors, by the way, and he just completely flipped. Completely flipped. All right, so this is crazy. We were going to wait just before the California governor primary to nuke Swalwell out of the race with my recordings of him inebriated with lobbyists at dinner. But now that his Democrat friends are calling on him to drop out, I guess I don't have to wait. Oh, my God.
Fascistic. So, Congressman, you referred to Elon Musk as a fascist at some point and alluded to him being a national security threat. Do you see that more of a national security threat, you sleeping with a Chinese spy, than transparency in the federal government? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? What's Fang Fang think of that?
What are you doing? This is ridiculous.
I mean, what's fascistic about exposing government corruption?
Bro.
I mean, I know you're just at dinner now with a bunch of lobbyists. You know, they're buying you a bunch of booze, and you know that's awfully nice. I know you were talking about, you know, maybe finding somebody else because you only like to fuck people that are tens. I just heard that one too. So what do you think about that? Do you want to comment on any of it?
But I was told he was the nice guy, the woke feminist guy.
Elon Musk is a national security threat, but you sleeping with a Chinese spy is not. Is that correct? You don't want to comment on that at all?
I suppose not. Anyway, this dude is like absolutely nuked from orbit. All right, so this is retardo extraordinaire. This guy, Harry Sisson, who had this entire, by the way, this dude had an entire scandal about him, like sleeping with a bunch of women too. It's crazy how they're all like this, it seems. So this is him basically dropping Swalwell too.
By now, I'm sure you've all heard about the incredibly serious allegations against Representative Eric Swalwell. He's a Democrat that's running for governor of California as well, and he's been accused of inappropriate behavior, of assaulting women, and other very horrific things. The allegations are detailed. There are records to back it up, text messages to back it up. It is just heartbreaking across the board. And the women who came forward are incredibly courageous. I can only imagine how difficult that must have been. And the creators who were talking about the story before it even dropped share that courage as well. Democrats across the board have called for him to not only drop his bid for governor of California, but to also resign from Congress.
That's right.
And I agree. He should do both of those things. This is yet another example of how the Democratic Party is vastly different than the Republicans. I mean, we hold our own accountable when they do something wrong.
All right, so what did the Republicans do wrong?
Very obviously, do not do that, especially when it comes to Trump.
What did Trump do wrong? Did he rape and drug a whole bunch of women? Because he was not found guilty of rape in court. They brought him to court over it, and they did not find him guilty of rape. So I don't know, man. What are we doing here? I love how it's like, Eric Swalwell raped a whole bunch of women, allegedly. Let's make this about Trump. This is the entire Democrat perspective. This is another accuser blowing the whistle.
I was so far removed from what had happened in 2019. I felt safe.
because I was established, I had a partner, I felt more secure that I could have a strictly professional relationship with this person. After that bar closed, we went to another. I went to the bathroom, and I don't remember anything after that.
You don't remember anything?
I remember the next day, I can see flashes of that evening, of him on top of me pushing him off, him grabbing me.
That's a whole ass lot of allegations from a lot of different women, my guy. Now, just because everything is killing him at the same time, Eric Swalwell paid illegal Brazilian live-in nanny under the table with campaign funds, complaint alleges. All right, so that's fraud as well. All right, now his career should have ended when he was caught sleeping with a Chinese spy, but they kept him around for some reason.
Where's the actual evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Putin?
It's right in front of your nose, Tucker. When we look back on this in 25 years, we're going to be amazed at how much of it was right in front of us.
You're a member of Judiciary. Do you believe the president right now has been an agent of the Russians?
Yes, I think there's more evidence than he is. Yes, and I think all the arrows point in that direction, and I haven't seen a single piece of evidence that he's not.
An agent like in the 1940s where you had people who were Reds, to use an old term, like that. In other words, working for a foreign power.
He's working on behalf of the Russians, yeah.
Okay.
The question has shifted from whether the president is working with the Russians to what evidence exists that the president is not working with the Russians.
What does that even mean?
At what point do you draw the line and not accuse the President of the United States without any evidence of being an agent of Russia?
Yeah, he's betrayed our country, and I don't say that lightly. I worked as a prosecutor for 7 years, and
Betraying the country, by the way, we want evidence before you
Yeah.
say that, but you said an agent of Russia.
Yeah, he works on their behalf.
I'm not hearing the evidence that he's an agent of Russia.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. It's a
Right. It's pretty clear. So this dude has an entire history of talking about the gigantic Donald Trump agent of Russia situation. Meanwhile, this dude was literally sleeping with a Chinese spy. Literally sleeping with a Chinese spy. Now, Ben Shapiro and everyone else is getting in their licks at the very end. You know, like, this dude's on his way out. Everyone's fucking coming out and killing this dude. All right?
And just because we found some receipts, you did say, I think homosexual activity is a sin.
Yes, I'm a religious Jew,
I'm
that's
sure
true.
there's a genetic component.
You found me out.
Orientation. But the view of all religious people I know has always been that sexual behavior is something that is up to you. And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your, I'm sure it's very hard to restrain yourself. Mr. Chairman,
Yeah. Is it very hard to restrain yourself from sleeping with many women, Mr. Swalwell? You would know a thing or two about that.
I just want to shift to Alvin Bragg.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The short Jew guy is getting the last laugh over here, I'm not going to lie. So this is January 2026. Swalwell vows if elected governor, he will take away the driver's license of ICE agents. You know why? Because they harass women.
To me, if you're going to run around our state masked and not showing yourself, not showing ID, and terrorize women, then you should not have a driver license. The governor has the power to grant driver's license in any state, and I call it reveal to wheel. If you're going to go into our communities in a way that no other law enforcement agency does, masked, and as I said, as a terrorizing bandit that women are afraid of, then the governor should revoke your driver license and really go on offense.
So you're saying that if women are afraid of you, you should lose your driver's license? Everything's coming back. This is 2025. Eric Swalwell wearing a No King shirt, telling a bunch of supporters that he came up with a new Democrat Party slogan. Get ready for
I have suggested to our leadership, and it's been well received, that we need to have a campaign called We Won't Forget, or It'll All Come Out.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, that's the message that we send to the...
Yeah, so he wanted to start a campaign called It'll All Come Out. And then it all came out. It all came out. Oh my God, this guy's insane. All right, so this is alleged censured liar Adam Schiff pontificating about lying and indecency with Eric Swalwell. This is just the entire Democratic Party right now. All right, it's crazy how cooked he is.
The fact that he has now dropped out of the governor's race and resigned from Congress, is that justice in your view?
No, it's just the beginning. It's just the very beginning. And I know personally that we're not walking away from this fight.
For me,
so
justice won't be until he can't ever harm a woman ever again.
Uh-oh.
and he has faced the consequences for the women that he has harmed.
I think in regards to the governor's race, he never should have ran for governor to begin with, knowing the kind of history and receipts that are out there. So that's a non-starter. And then in terms of Congress, I think he absolutely should have resigned. I think we just prevented another 30 to 40 years potentially of him harming people if he were to stay in Congress.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think we have served justice for his future victims.
Wow.
That won't exist anymore.
The fact
Yeah, damn. And it's like, oh, is it just over when we end his entire career? No, 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 no. It only gets started. Here's Eric Swalwell having a meltdown about pictures of Trump with a cat.
What in the hell is this? The chairman tweets, protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio because he goes down some crazy rabbit hole, completely debunked that aliens are eating pets? My God. Are you okay, Mr. Chairman? Because last year, for a very long time, you tweeted and promoted Kanye West as he was calling for genocide against the Jews, and you kept it up. And now, when we have victims coming here, you're tweeting this nonsense. I don't know why you would.
So yeah, the most Trump deranged retard of all time is actually a gigantic alleged predator. Dude, this Elon Musk tweet is just insane. Bro, you should fight those false allegations, especially the videos of you doing weird shit with hookers. The videos are out, by the way. I don't think I can actually show them to you for obvious reasons. But they're actually out. I've seen them. I've seen them. All right, so this is Donald Trump in 2023.
Little respected, lightweight Representative Eric Swalwell was just kicked off the Intelligence Committee for reasons of integrity and lack of intelligence, and for having the poor judgment of dating and falling desperately in love with a Chinese spy.
Oh,
Fang
my
Fang,
God, dude.
this idiot of a congressman is now calling for publicity purposes only for some great American patriots, including me, to be banned from the United States Capitol building. Fortunately, people understand that Swalwell is a lowlife not respected by anybody and merely used for entertainment reasons by the fake news media to continue their assault on President Donald J. Trump and their assault on America. People like this are not serious people. They shouldn't be taken seriously.
And he's going to jail. So yeah, so this is just absolute, utter, and complete obliteration of this complete and total fucking faggot in the most hilarious way ever. In my opinion, obviously, it's a tragedy of what happened to these women, if this is true. These are just allegations at this time, even though it seems like there's a lot of corroborating evidence, like actual photos of them in hotel rooms and shit. So I'm not, but they're allegations. I don't want to get sued by small dick Swalwell over here. But I do want to take this moment to say that it's always the ones you most expect. It's the male feminist, nice guy, protector of women, anti-sexual assault people. It's the anti-men, virtue signaling, dumb fuck retards that end up with this roster of victims. I was an attorney fighting for women, so I'm actually so much pro-women, unlike Trump, who's anti-women and misogynist. To prove how pro-women I am, this is this huge pile of women that I've drugged and raped, allegedly. Complete and utter abhorrent retard downfall. I said it before and I'll say it again. If you're a Democrat, you're either retarded or evil. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like sometimes this Eric Swalwell guy might be a little bit of both. Heartbreakingly for the Democrats, they're having a really bad time. Legislation is being pushed banning the worst of them, and HASAN PIKER, the worst of them, if you could even call him a Democrat, or, you know, full-blown jihadist, whatever he prefers to go by these days, is making a lot of waves. He's picking fight with congressmen, and honestly, after watching what happened to Eric Swalwell, Democrat congressman, completely shamed for all sorts of victims. Another Democrat leftoid that has all sorts of victims decides to read his ugly head. So it all started with Randy Fine, a congressman in Florida, saying foreigners should not be allowed to serve in Congress. That's why I've introduced the Disqualifying Dual Loyalty Act. If you're a citizen of another country, you don't get to serve this one. Get out. Now, my stance on this is actually, it's a very nuanced opinion. I've researched both sides of this discussion, and I have a very nuanced opinion on this. My nuanced opinion is, abso-fucking-lutely, every single foreigner needs to get out of Congress. You cannot serve two masters. Every single person in Congress that is another citizenship, they gotta go. All right? If you have another citizenship and you want to run for Congress, before you run, you need to denounce your foreign citizenship. Not after you win, before you run, you should need to denounce your foreign citizenship. No, we have Ilhan Omar from Somalia doing everything she can for the Somalians and Somalia and, you know, getting billions of dollars of alleged fraud going to Somalians on purpose, which they are shoveling back to the Al-Shabaab terrorist organization back in Somalia. Absolute disgusting shit, and it's so obvious that these people actually have allegiance to other countries, not ours. So I think that this is just incredibly obviously based. Foreigners should not be able to serve in Congress, because every single time you have one of these foreigners in Congress, they always vote to abolish ICE or something. Almost exclusively, the people calling for the abolition of our immigration enforcement are people that immigrated. No shit, they want their extended family to come in there so they can keep electing them to take power. It's actually pretty obvious, and it's a major issue in our country. So Randy Fine pushed this legislation, which hopefully will actually work, because I think that this is a nightmare. The dual loyalty situation in Congress specifically, and I don't care what country it is. I don't care if you're a dual citizen between America and Somalia, America and fucking Iran, America and Israel, America and Germany, doesn't matter. If you have another citizenship, you should not be in power to represent Americans, because I personally will always assume that you might be having a foreign interest, a foreign government, a foreign people in mind, when your goal is representing us, the American people. Now, HASAN PIKER says, buddy, you're getting deported to Israel. Get it? Because he's Jewish. Now, the funny thing is, HASAN PIKER is always like saying, oh, I'm not anti-Semitic. I have delineating line. I'm just anti-Zionist. I'm not anti-Semitic. Anyway, so this is him just telling a random Jew to get deported to Israel. This is an American who does not have another citizenship. He is just an American citizen. He's not a dual citizen. And you have HASAN PIKER telling him to get deported to Israel. Pretty awesome, honestly. You know, I was born in the United States. My parents were born in the United States. Two of my grandparents were born in the United States more than 100 years ago. Neither of the two were born in Israel. I have never even visited Israel until I was in my 30s. HASAN PIKER is the child of two Turkish Muslims. Oh my God. Oh my God, who engaged in birth tourism so he could become an American, after which he immediately taken to Turkey and spent his entire childhood. PIKER said America deserved 9/11, kill the motherfuckers, let the streets soak in their red capitalist blood. If you care about Medicare fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. Oh my God, he's literally pulling out all the Nuxanor quotes. This dude is a hardcore Nuxanor fan. He has to be. He has campaigned alongside Representatives Summer Lee, Ro Khanna, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Zoran Mamdani, AOC, and Bernie Sanders. This is the Democrat Party today. Honestly fucking based. Holy shit, dude. He pissed off a fucking meteor. HASAN PIKER. Oh my God, he keeps going. All right, so this is a video of HASAN PIKER abusing dogs.
Motherfucker, come here. Stay. If you run right now, I'll fucking kill you. Like, I'll actually kill you, okay? In front of everyone. Stay.
So this is him yelling at his dog, telling his dog he's going to kill him, pulling the dog by the tail. Inhumane shit, honestly. Like, again, he's a Turk, so are we surprised? So this is Randy Fine retweeting this. This is insane. We have a congressman actually getting in on this. HASAN PIKER is a major mainstream Muslim voice in America who has campaigned alongside Summer Lee, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Zoran Mamdani, Ro Khanna, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. In the video, he is seen abusing a dog, torturing it, while saying, if you run right now, I'll fucking kill you. This is sick and disturbing. I choose dogs. Now, you might remember him from a viral situation a couple months ago, where essentially there was a Palestinian friend of Zoran Mamdani in New York, and a large activist person basically saying we need to start banning dogs as indoor pets in New York City since it's been taken by Islam and dogs are unclean. And Zoran Mamdani and Randy Fine basically said, if forced to choose between the Muslims and the dogs, the choice is obvious. This obviously pissed off a lot of people. This obviously upset some people for some reason. Anyway, so he drops that one. Now, this same HASAN PIKER is on the show with Ilhan Omar.
May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
Have you ever seen, I'm sure you're familiar with this. You've heard this.
I've seen the video, yeah.
You've seen the video? Okay.
Yeah, at his rallies.
Yes.
But was that the Lion King sound at the end?
No, is it?
Yeah, so anyways, so this is him and Ilhan Omar chilling out, two foreign Muslims coming into our country to conquer it from the inside. You know, they're both pushing the death to America bullshit. They're both pushing the infinite immigration, the infinite fraud. So yeah, actually, it's really nice that people are actually starting to pay attention that this is a major issue. Two terrorist supporters on a stream together? I did not see this coming at all. This is so shocking and crazy. So Obama's former speechwriter, John Favreau, asks the Democrat spokesperson HASAN PIKER if he actually supports the Hamas terrorists.
Sometimes better. Do you actually mean that? Or is that a rhetorical move or like a solidarity signal? Like what?
I mean, it's all of the above. I do mean it. I think it's a
right. So this is asking directly, when you say Hamas is great, right?
So my question is, when you say Hamas is 1,000 times better, do you actually mean that? Or is that a rhetorical move or like a solidarity signal? Like what?
I mean, it's all of the above.
Right. The left just supports terrorism now.
I do mean it. I think it's a rhetorical move because it frustrates a lot of people. I've also said I'm a harm reduction voter. I'm a less.
It frustrates people when terrorist supporter admits they support terrorists. My guy, this is the oldest news of all time. This is the guy that says he doesn't care if rapes happened on October 7th, and also denied rapes happening on October 7th.
It's an evil voter, and therefore I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time. So
obviously, of course, he would vote for the guys that started the war and use human shields, as opposed to the guys that are killing terrorists that have been killing their people. Absolutely, obviously, this is the HASAN PIKER strategy. You know, it's because he actually loves terrorism, actually. And people are starting to notice. This is from the RNC research department releasing videos of HASAN PIKER. Bro is getting mega cooked. Now, apparently, there's the pretty wild situation where Asmongold got banned on Twitch for, talking about politics, and HASAN PIKER has not been banned on Twitch. And a lot of people are starting to notice that this HASAN character is kind of fucking horrible.
Asmongold,
largest leftist streamer in America, by the way,
got banned on Twitch over essentially wrongthink,
That's right.
which is already backfiring for Twitch, as he took to his 4 million subscriber YouTube account to explain.
I got suspended last night on Twitch. I end my stream and I get a message and it says that my account has been suspended for 7 days because of hateful conduct. I said that I didn't give a about the opinions of third worlders, and then particularly in the thing that they referenced, I was referring to illiterate goat herders from Afghanistan.
Again, the way this looks out in the public is not a United States.
The opinions of third worlders don't matter. Like, I don't care what some illiterate goat herder thinks in Afghanistan. It doesn't matter.
In the context of those people believing AI-generated videos about Iran winning the war and nuking Israel off the map. Gentlemen, I would like to confirm that I am 100% right, and you don't either. And neither do they, because if
true. No one cares about these people's opinions. It doesn't matter to me at all. I don't care about most people's opinions, even if they're not in the third world. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, yes, dude. I don't want to be rude here or anything, and I'm sure that some people are gonna be very offended. Did you know that there's a lot of Americans that are so fucking stupid that they think men could become women? Bro, that's retarded, obviously. But the reality is, a lot of people actually are that fucking stupid. So the truth is very simple. The truth is, I don't care about the opinions from a lot of retards. This shouldn't be offensive. This is just obvious. Why would I care about the opinion of someone who doesn't understand basic anatomy?
Cares about their opinions? Why don't they apply Afghanistan's opinions to women on Twitch? That would be interesting.
True. You know they have slaves and sex slaves and shit in Afghanistan?
Wouldn't it?
As Asmon's referencing this article, explaining since 2021, they have over 70 decrees essentially erasing women from public life, banning education over 6th grade, employment, and even moving around without a man, which is just the first of many hypocrisies Twitch has, as in the world of liberal censorship.
No, but this is literally just an infinite retard jutsu, where these dumb fucks will all gather together in this gayest orgy of all time and be like, all cultures are valid and equal, and all cultures are equally beautiful and equally important, and you should care about the opinions of the guys throwing shit at each other in a mud hut in Zimbabwe as much as you should care about the opinions of the United States president. All right? And again, quite literally, no. Quite literally, you're fucking stupid. Some cultures fucking suck, and some cultures are immoral shitbags that worship demons and fuck goats. I don't actually take their opinions nearly as seriously as the opinions of the United States president. So, like, again, like, this is just the obvious perspective that most people probably have.
Censorship, simply saying something is far worse than actually doing it, as this isn't about what he actually meant. It's about some mod hovering over the red button, patiently praying for an excuse to silence their enemy.
I'm not sorry. I'm right. I said nothing wrong, and nothing I said was against the terms of service. Beyond that, do you even imagine a world where somebody that says that they don't care about what a fat American thinks about the Middle East, can you imagine that this person ever gets suspended?
Yes. If they call the American fat. Fat is very offensive, even though fat is beautiful at the same time. Don't you understand how leftists operate? Schrodinger's fat ass.
Of course not.
He has some woke qualities, but he's nowhere near as woke as Francis. Francis was a socialist. This motherfucker is an American. And I think Americans are gross. Americans do not have a understanding.
Yeah, all cultures are great, except for America. Yes, where they have industrialized child rape, like in Iran or Afghanistan, for example. Those cultures are awesome. American culture, gross, because capitalism.
Of the world.
And so why am I getting suspended? It's more third worldist morality.
I have a theory, and I'll tell you why later.
The logic conversion that basically is being used to silence me for an entire week.
And this might have been the most recent instance of hypocrisy, but definitely wasn't the worst. Since if you're popular enough, you can drive dangerously on stream and get less of a ban than Zach. You can literally toss your cat, and Twitch sits this one out, which is in line with the other high-profile animal incidents on Twitch. Not only that, but the left can call for the actual ending of politicians.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
Or arguably worse than Asmongold's comment.
We have endured suffering under the communist regime, and we believe that...
Okay, you, dude. I mean, seriously, you, old lady. Shut the up, you stupid fucking idiotic old lady with your...
Dude, I love this clip. It's like, this is a Vietnamese refugee who fled communism, saying that communism is bad. Then you got HASAN PIKER, multi-millionaire retard who comes from a billionaire family who had the mansion in LA, talking about how dare she state her opinion about how communism is bad.
Stupid fucking gamer headset. Who is you harder, America or Ho Chi Minh? Suck my dick, old lady. God damn, dude. Yo, this refugee, okay? Seriously.
As if they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. But aside from putting people and pets in danger, I want the platform to permit any take, as vile as it may be, as long as it's allowed evenly. If Asmongold doesn't like foreign illiterates, people should know. If HASAN thinks Vietnamese...
He didn't even say that he didn't like them. He just said he doesn't want to listen to their opinion. But, like, you have to be a fucking troglodyte if you care about the opinions of foreign illiterate goat herders. Like Muhammad, for example. Oh my god. Yeah, one of my favorite trolls is like when you say who wrote the Quran, and it's like, it's the word of God. Oh, yeah, but who wrote it? Was it Muhammad? No, he was illiterate. It's like, okay, dude. All right, dude.
These girls that have inconvenient information on how communism works should inhale his frontal. Viewers should know that's who he is. But that's the problem with selective moderation on these tech platforms. It's never going to be applied evenly, as the left knows without mass censorship, they simply couldn't exist.
That's
I
right.
had the same experience on my side.
They killed Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was the negotiator, and they just couldn't engage, so they murdered him. Yep, leftism.
Livestream channel where a video covering a riot randomly got tagged and suppressed as sexual content. There was nothing even remotely close to that, but upon appeal and human review, they confirmed it indeed included it. And after
that is crazy. I've gotten so many videos zapped for like sexual content when there was absolutely nothing there. It's horrible, but yeah, no, true. True.
They looked into it and said, oh no, it was because of curse words. But that label never got removed, and the channel's growth has never been the same since. All because some human moderator didn't like what I was doing, so decided to apply what's likely the worst label for removal. Not because I was violating the rule, but because what I believe was just making up reasons to suppress you. The same thing just happened to Asmongold, but at least he's already hedging his bets by diversifying his stream.
I totally believe him, by the way. Like, a lot of this situation just stems from they don't like you, so therefore they're just going to be heavy-handed. And that's why the terms of service are so vague on all these websites. you know, you're not allowed to offend the protective group. What the fuck does offend the protective group mean? HASAN could say, you know, all Jews are inbred and, you know, kill them and shit, and Hamas is awesome. And that's okay. That's fine. But mentioning that Palestinians are an inferior culture because, you know, their number one export is terrorism, that'll get you banned.
I mean, and here's the annoying thing, right? Is like, well, if Trump nukes Iran, which seems like that's getting more likely every day, then I'm gonna have to go live on go live on Kick and Rumble, right? Maybe on YouTube too. I prefer just to do Kick and Rumble. It's a copyright thing, right? It's a confusing, you know, content creator reason. But like, and then we'll continue uploading videos. And if something big happens, don't worry, I'll be there, and you'll have a way to watch me, and you know, it'll be all back to usual. But I would like to take at least a little bit of time, and you know, like maybe fix a little bit of things in my life, and
yeah, you can get new teeth or some shit.
Relax a little bit.
Every time Twitch bans him, he gets more teeth.
Now, I personally hope he takes the week off, just relaxes, and comes back as a Chad, Gucci'd out in a mansion just to see HASAN try to argue why when Zach does it, it's bad. But the more important aspect is how he recently started multi-streaming to Kick. Just started to get his Rumble channel afloat, on top of his 4 million subscriber YouTube channel and his 1 million subscriber Clips page, which every single day, every single clip gets over 1 million views.
Yeah, he's
it
massive.
Seems loosely related, but honestly may be the main reason he got hit so hard only recently, as Asmongold in 2026 has the 6th biggest growth for right-leaning channels, but is the only one that gathers most of his audience on Twitch. And if he's slowly turning Twitch viewers to Kick viewers during the continuing trend of viewership collapse, with even streamers slowly leaving the platform, they're faced with a difficult decision of, do we continue to slowly lose viewership outside the carefully controlled bubble of Amazon, or do we cut our losses at once? All of Asmon.
That's a really good point. If you ban Asmongold, Twitch just becomes an exclusively left-wing echo chamber. And that's it. And the viewers just think that HASAN's way is the only way. That's honestly insane.
Millions of fans immediately migrating away just to stop the slow expansion of his influence. As his rival HASAN can poke fun at Asmongold's punishment, but doesn't detract from the fact that even his puff piece.
What is this picture, bro? How small is his head?
Has him looking bizarre. He can spend his time trying to explain why he looks this way.
This has shoulder pads. Like,
oh my
this
God,
isn't.
he's such a loser.
I've worn this before on stream.
But now, not only is it right
this guy is like the most insecure motherfucker of all time.
Attacking Democrats for affiliating with him, even deep left CNN is denouncing the insane things he said.
Quote, it doesn't matter if effing happened on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me. And HASAN PIKER is excusing sexual violence by Hamas terrorists.
He's endorsing it, it seems. He doesn't care if it happens.
And here's what PIKER said about the horrors of September 11th, 2001.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying.
As Twitch's war over politics has been over, viewers that used to like HASAN until he probably shocked his dog or was watching big booba Twitch streamers before realizing how pathetic it is. They suddenly have more time to give Asmongold a chance, realizing he's just a regular guy like them and nothing like what the left paints him as. And now their own pipeline has guided their escape from the left's carefully curated bubble of Twitch, Reddit, and the mainstream media, as Asmongold doubles down over his ban, emboldening everybody else to do the same.
Let me talk about, like, really how I feel about this.
All right.
Do I give a f about the opinions of a bunch of third worlders in regards to what my country should do?
No.
Absolutely not.
Obviously.
I do not. You shouldn't. They shouldn't give a f about what I think about their country. Because why would I take...
Well, I mean, we have nukes. So, I mean, I suppose they should care a little bit.
Somebody's opinion that is from a hole in these countries. And by the way,
these
are
shitholes.
Many of these countries are shitholes. And don't let anybody teach you or tell you that, oh, it's America's fault.
True. No, it's a shithole.
If Twitch thinks Afghanistan has such great opinions that should be listened to, maybe they should apply Afghanistan's opinions to women on Twitch. How about that?
Oh,
but they won't, because they also agree with me too. I just was the one that said it. But everybody thinks this.
Yeah,
and I have nothing, by the way. Oh, I said illiterate. They have 37% literacy. Flip a coin, I'm right. And if you're a guy from Afghanistan, you're watching, I don't know, I'm sure we've got a number of them. We've got a lot of people that watch the show. Listen, man, I'm not talking about you, but you know that there's some idiots in your country that are morons of talking about them. And by the way, we have those same third worldists, we have those same in America. Being a third worlder and being a third worldist, yes, it's a geography, but it's more importantly a mindset.
Yeah,
getting banned as only.
If you're dumb as fucking rocks, then I don't care. I don't care about your opinion regardless of where you were born. So true, so true. I'm not racist just against some people. I'm racist against everybody. Beautiful lesson.
We amplified that message. Maybe 40,000 people saw it live, but the ban had people wondering why. Rumors flied it was over showing horse parts, but after his YouTube explanation receiving over 1.7 million views, his Twitch post hitting nearly 10 million in under a day, they've only highlighted their hypocrisy, reminding everybody how insanely stupid their last 6 months have been. But all remain optimistic and not give up on them yet. Twitter, becoming X, almost immediately made them the de facto platform of free speech, becoming the #1 news app across the globe. It seems Asmongold is somewhat expecting his appeal to prematurely end his ban, and since Twitch invited me on the platform, knowing full well who I am, these are all signs that Amazon may start to put profit over propaganda.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on it. I very much expect the devil to continue doing his shit. But dude, watching like every time Asmongold gets banned, it just puts more spotlight on the fact that HASAN is not banned, and then you have like actual congressmen and shit being like, "Whoa, why is this guy in our country? Doesn't he support terrorists?" Like, dude, the HASAN downfall is honestly tremendous. He's just like an actual black smudge on everyone he approaches right now, as he should be, by the way. I think anyone that's willingly associating with HASAN is, by extension, also a supporter of terrorism, and I think they deserve all the shit flung at them. Now, almost a week ago, Asmongold was banned on Twitch. All right, as we all know, as we all see, this happened. What a tragedy. This just got 10 million views, just from people basically talking about how obviously hypocritical Twitch is, the fact that they have open terrorist support on their platform, but they banned Asmongold for saying he doesn't care about the opinions of third worlders. And of course, they unbanned him. Asmongold unbanned on Twitch. Unbanned early, easy. Had some dental work done yesterday. Assuming he'd have the week off. Might have to take a day or two extra to recover, and then we'll be back. Hey, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that nice? So the ban didn't land very long. Now, if you actually pay attention to when this ban actually took place, you'll notice that the ban took place April 6th, which was right before Trump's gigantic ultimatum on Iran. All right, bear with me for a second. This might get into conspiratorial areas, but I'm going to prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that this retard might be correct. So Asmongold gets banned. He is the #1 Twitch streamer for politics and news. All right, the biggest thing that was going on in the world at the time was Trump drops a 48-hour ultimatum on Iran, saying that if Iran doesn't capitulate to, engage in peace talks, we're gonna obliterate you. All right, that was literally the Trump threat to Iran. And then they banned Asmongold, who was covering all this deeply, obviously on the pro-Trump side, on the anti-Iran side, on the pro-obliterating the Iranian regime side, because the Iranian regime is shut off the internet in Iran and massacred the protesters. So basically, the only actual broadcast for stuff like this are videos like mine, for example, or Asmongold's stream and his videos, which were very, very massively popular. Now, what if I told you that at around the same time that Asmongold got banned on his platform on Twitch, I got my entire channels demonetized? That's right, I have 2 YouTube channels, and neither of them are making any money now for over a week. Total demonetization on both channels. They say they've run into issues and they need to process things, and I'm just sitting in this processing phase forever, making 0 revenue on all of my work and effort. I'm literally just doing it for the love of the game, because I feel like some people need to talk about the crazy shit that goes on in this world. I will keep you updated when I get my monetization back. Hopefully that does happen, but right now, it's some of the most demoralizing shit I've ever had to deal with. So if I missed a couple of uploads, you might know why. Now, again, they never told me it had anything to do with Iran or anything like that. And of course, I don't expect it. It's just a really funny coincidence that, I have been covering this on the side of obliterate the Iranian regime, liberate the Iranian people if we can. God bless Donald Trump for actually doing something about these terrorists. And then you have Asmongold, who basically has the same political position in this regard. We don't agree on everything, but on this we do. And Asmongold also gets banned on Twitch. He's silenced in his own way. And, I saw these 2 things and I was like, well, that's a really funny coincidence, isn't it? And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if there are any other, pro-obliterating the Iranian regime channels that are also undergoing any issues. So I looked around and This is Goldi Gamari. She is the #1, from what I understand, voice of the Iranians outside of Iran. She currently lives in Canada. She is Iranian herself. She showed up on Piers Morgan a whole lot of times, and she made this video titled "YouTube is silencing my voice under false allegations." Oh my God. So really, is it now? Is it still a coincidence, guys? Is it really still a coincidence? It's like big tech is still playing with these fucking fires the same way they did during COVID. They're just much more subtle about it, but this is insane. So I wanted to see what her situation was about.
Hi, everyone. If you haven't heard by now, yesterday when I
Oh fuck! No, the video. Okay, I don't think the video.
was live streaming day 106
I'm so paranoid, man.
Iran
I'm so paranoid. The YouTube snipers are out to kill me. I will let you know if I or when I get my monetization back. Okay, I will let you know when it happens. All right, never fear. But right now, I'm making no money.
Live, which I have been doing since December 28, when the Iranian Revolution started. My live stream was taken down by YouTube.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to bring it back up. And then when I tried to restart my live stream, I was told that my live streaming capability has been disabled.
So let's just understand what she does on her live streams. On her live streams, every day, she goes live for like 4 or 5 hours and basically covers the actual geopolitics in Iran, because the Iranians themselves have no internet, because the terrorist Iranian regime shut off their entire internet and the entire country and massacres them in silence. All right, so she basically took it upon herself every single day. She streams for like 4 or 5 hours, specifically about the ongoings in Iran. And oopsie poopsie, she lost her live streaming capabilities.
What's even crazier is the reason why YouTube disabled not only my live stream yesterday, but is now preventing me from live streaming on my biggest platform.
All right.
So I received an email yesterday, and YouTube is basically saying, "Hey, Goldi Gamari MPP, it looks like Iran Revolution Live with Iranian hosts Goldi and Armin, day 106, didn't follow our community guidelines. We removed it from YouTube. What we found.
All right, get ready.
We think your content violated our firearms policy.
Bro.
Content that shows someone live streaming while holding, handling, or transporting a firearm isn't allowed on YouTube."
That's insane, because there are so many live streamers with weapons on YouTube. All right, but anyway.
Channels not in compliance with this policy may temporarily lose their ability to live stream.
What? Because someone made an oopsie, allegedly, now they can't stream at all? Like, she didn't even get a strike on her channel. From what I understand, she didn't even get a strike on the channel. They just removed the stream, and now she can't stream anymore.
You can see an instance around 5:03:58.
Apparently, they were combing through her videos so well that 5 hours and 3 minutes into one of her streams, they saw a streamer with a firearm.
Although there could be other instances.
All right, get ready. Yeah.
Are you kidding me right now, YouTube? Are you kidding me? Here, guys, look at this.
There we go.
Here is 5:03:58. Do you see that? Here, let me make this bigger, guys. How do I make this bigger?
All right, as you can see, this is Cardboard Khomeini.
Here we go.
He's gay, by the way.
This is 5:03:58. You see the timestamp? Okay, there's the timestamp. There's me.
Where's the gun?
There's me.
Where's the gun?
There's me. There's Armin. And, you know, we're watching this music video or whatever, which, by the way, this music video was available on YouTube. So we were broadcasting, playing.
That has happened to me before, by the way, where I reacted to a video that was on YouTube and then they took down my video.
Something that was already uploaded and available on YouTube and, you know, presumably has passed all the YouTube checks, right? So this is what was going on at 5:03:58. Do you see a gun in this screenshot?
That doesn't look good. I don't
Do
see
you
a gun.
see a firearm?
No, I don't.
You
I
can't
don't
even
see a
my
firearm.
hands. I mean, unless you're talking about, I mean, these guns maybe, but
I don't
do
think
you
that's what you're
actually
talking about.
see a firearm here? Because I certainly don't. In fact, I don't even own a fire gun, like a firearm or gun or
The Canadian be like, I don't even own a fire gun. Many such cases.
you know, whatever.
They're too busy with their MMORPG LGBTQQRS plus. You know.
I don't even know the proper term for that kind of stuff because I don't own one. I live in Canada. It's illegal to have these sorts of things anyway.
Go back to Iran where they have real freedom. I'm kidding. I'm joking. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Without a permit. And in the last 106 days, in fact, never in my life have I ever live streamed myself brandishing or holding or carrying or whatever a firearm. I don't even own one. So anyways,
yeah, I really do think this is just because again, it's just so hyper specific. 5:03:58 into a live stream, we saw you with a gun, so therefore we're disabling all streaming on the channel. And then at 5:03:58, there's no gun, and yet they're still disabling streaming on the entire channel. It seems to me like there are way too many instances of this happening at the same time to a lot of streamers, specifically. That's like, well, we really don't like your coverage of the Iranian revolution situation.
This happened, and I was like, you know what? This could be just a misunderstanding. You know, maybe this is just a misunderstanding. Let me appeal this, you know, decision by YouTube.
Yeah, that's getting rejected immediately.
Obviously, it's
no way,
unfair.
that's working.
Maybe it's like an AI thing.
Yeah, no,
you're
cooked. You're cooked.
So I filed an appeal, and literally within 4 minutes,
yeah.
4 minutes. And guys, I have the timestamp in the emails. Okay, so when I got the initial notice, like when I got this notice, okay, the time difference between this notice and the appeal, 4 minutes. So I appealed YouTube's obviously erroneous decision to take down my live stream and block me from live streaming. Within 4 minutes, this is the email that I got. Hi, Goldie Gamari MPP. We reviewed Iran Revolution Live with Iranian hosts Goldie and Armin Day 106 again and confirmed it's not allowed under our firearms policy. What firearms policy am I breaking?
Bro, you are so cooked. You are so cooked. You can't even argue with the machine overlords, man. It's like, we are terminating your channel for violating the firearms policy. I didn't violate your firearms policy. Must not be like you're just over. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna say to these people? They have all the power.
Your video won't be put back on YouTube. We understand this may be frustrating, but we're committed to keeping YouTube a safe place for everyone.
Bro.
Our goal is to help you succeed on YouTube.
Sure.
Well, you're certainly not doing that, YouTube. You're certainly not helping me succeed when you are taking down my videos and then you are falsely accusing me of holding a firearm. What is it? Someone live streaming while holding, handling, or transporting a firearm. So how are you actually helping me succeed on YouTube when you are falsely accusing me of live streaming while holding a gun, which I have never done and of course never will do? My entire show, Iran Revolution Live, is about being a voice for the Iranian people. That's what I have been doing. That's what I have been doing for the last, not just 100.
Yeah, I think that's why they don't like you. I don't want to be rude here, but I think that's why YouTube has an issue with you.
In 6 days, but for the last 10 years of my life. And now when we're getting to the critical point, now when we are getting to the moment where things are escalating and heating up, this is the moment that you choose to block me from live streaming when 90 million Iranians have been shut off from the internet for the last, 45 days now? The internet in occupied Iran has been shut down for the last 45 days. 90 million Iranians do not have a voice. They are unable to speak out because the terrorist Islamic regime that is occupying Iran and occupying them does not want the world to know what they think. That is literally the reason why I have been live streaming day in and day out for the last 106 days. So that at least someone can be a voice for people in occupied Iran.
Yeah. I think that I don't want to be that guy, but I think that is kind of why YouTube has an issue with you. And you'll notice
are holding a gun. And then that person said to me, well, I don't have the specifics. I don't have access to the specifics, but we trust our internal review team. So obviously there's a disconnect between the support.
Oh my God. So you were holding a gun. We took down your channel. Request review because you wasn't holding a gun. Nope, you still violated our gun holding policy. Okay. Get to speak to the actual support team at YouTube. Hey, support team at YouTube. I got my video taken down because they said I was holding a gun, which I wasn't. And the support team was like, well, you were holding a gun. And she was like, no, seriously, look at this timestamp. You'll see I'm not holding a gun. Yeah, I don't have access to the timestamp, but you were holding a gun. Oh my God, dude. This is
on
brutal.
The YouTube
this
dashboard
is just a nightmare.
Versus the internal review team. And how is it that the internal review team can just operate with impunity?
First time.
Right? And no one can challenge their decision. How am I supposed to get in touch with someone?
You're not.
This is literally a life or death situation.
Yeah, and they're on the other side. They support the other side.
I know this isn't only happening to me. This is happening to a lot of other YouTube content creators whose videos are being taken down and their ability to live stream is being removed.
True.
Because of this weird firearms policy. I mean, I heard about someone who was live streaming an active shooter situation, basically sharing the news, and he was taken down. I'm sharing news videos and content about the conflict in Iran. Of course, there's going to be people holding firearms. That's why I've made sure that I say my content is not intended for children. My content is for adults only.
Yeah, they don't actually care at all. Like you're hitting them with a moral argument. They don't care. They want you to get shut down, and they don't care how. Now, the craziest thing is they could have hit you with some sort of showing violence or controversial topics or anything, but the fact that they went for firearms and then doubled and tripled down is insane. Now, just to understand what I'm dealing with, this is my revenue graph. For those of you curious, this is my graph of revenue, where, I was making, this much every single day, this much every day, and then all of a sudden I got my entire channel demonetized right over there. Right over there, I got the channel demonetized, and then it actually just flatlined in the most insane way ever. So yeah, no, I'm totally with you. Again, this is ridiculous that it's like this. It's ridiculous it's been like this for this amount of time. I think it's like, what, 8 days, 9 days now? And it's insane. It's absolute insanity. It really is. And, I'm going to do my absolute best to keep going as much as I can. Hopefully this gets undone. Don't get me wrong. I'm really waiting for that to happen as soon as possible because this is fucking miserable. I have spoken to people at YouTube directly. I've contacted them. I've directly spoken to them. They said they're looking into it, but me, I'm unemployed right now. Right now I'm working on zero pay. Pretty efficient way to get people to, not talk about things that you don't want them to talk about if they have zero incentive to put the effort in and actually do the research and the broadcasting and everything. So I'm just saying, if it would have just happened to me, I would have been like, well, that's just a funny coincidence. And Asmongold got banned. Yeah, but that's on Twitch. That's not even on YouTube. That's just a funny coincidence. And then you see this Goldie Gamari character over here getting her entire stream not only taken down, but blocked from future streaming for like obvious bullshit. And it's like, well, this does remind me of when I got a strike on my channel for talking about COVID a couple of years ago. Mark Zuckerberg literally admitted that under the Biden administration, he was shutting shit down and he was actually censoring things. Who knows? Who knows what operatives of the old guard are still fucking in place? I know that the propaganda warfare online is insane. You see all the AI fake posts with bajillion likes from retards in Pakistan. Illiterate goat herders dropping likes on fucking tweets of AI American battleships getting blown up by flying magical donkeys. But there's something really suspicious going on, and I urge you all, do not fall for the fucking psyop. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely had a wild ride today. Did a lot of research, did a lot of work for zero pay. God. Every Jewish bone in my body shrieking at me to take a day off. I'm not getting paid anyway, but, I'm doing my absolute best out here. Definitely subscribe. You can support me on Patreon. That'd be great. Link in the description. You can go over there. You can pledge something. You can donate or whatever. That'll be very nice. You'll get nothing in return, but it would be very appreciated. Don't feel obligated or anything, but thanks in advance. Honestly, I'm just grateful you're here. Grateful we were able to have this glorious time together making fun of retards. It's cathartic and therapeutic and awesome. I'll see you in the next one, everybody. And remember, God is good. God obviously wanted me to lose my monetization here for a reason. I will overcome his challenge. God is so great. Bye.